Time's up, Admiral.
Here it comes.
Fade in.
If somebody's going to try to blackmail me with advertising, blackmail me with money, go f yourself. But go f yourself. Is that clear? I hope it is. Hey, Bob, if you're in the audience.
What's the matter? Take yourself a great big bite of meat. Taste the pleasure of the highest quality pork around.
Give me the meat and give it to me raw.
No! She's not supposed to be talking about...
I have no idea what's going on, Dre, but it's fun.
Talk about that!
He's having a breakdown. Somebody call Johnny Cochran. Oh, you will taste and see that I am delicioso.
You got to watch it. You got to hit the like button.
We've got to get it up for him, guys. Come on. Everyone who's watching this
video
needs to
go over there. Don't say it like that.
And share the video. We got to keep going.
Don't they have to get it up for me? Don't say it like that. God damn it.
Yo, you let the joint hit the back of your throat. Have you no shame?
But I'm so apathetic to Star Wars that this episode could have featured Yoda riding on a dildo being wielded by R2-D2, and I would have the same reaction.
Oh, these two girls when you kiss, they're going to be hot. Oh, yo, you know, Elizabeth Hurley's going to get butt naked in this.
I will twerk on her on the bed. I ain't going to do it in the middle of the dance floor.
That's what I'm... Yeah, whatever.
That's all right.
Why? My brain didn't need that. I'd already seen too many pictures of Shooty Gatwa today.
What?
Well, that's an image in my mind.
Well, we're talking about people who have serious sexual orientation and gender identity problems. And I'm not talking, and when I say sexual orientation, I don't mean, you know, a dude who likes a dude and a chick who likes a chick. We're talking about people who think that they're non-binary and they don't know how to play with their holes and shit like that.
Oh,
so, Jesus Christ. I'm still jerking off in front of my console.
I'm retarded.
I dangled for too long there. That wasn't fun.
This is why I do crystal meth.
But it was a space battle. It's a visually impressive object all over it.
This week, I binged Creature Commandos. Binged Creature Commandos.
And you binged it right out
this week and you forgot it?
You consumed it and you binged it right out, huh?
Yep, and I definitely took a nice, good country dump, and it came right out along with it. Two things. No, one thing is guaranteed to happen, Adam. I'm going to get naked. Either way, either from celebration or depression, I'm getting naked in some way, shape, or form. It's happening. Period. Not up for debate. It's happening.
I've been told by lore people for this stuff for House of the Dragon for the books. Yeah, Rhaenyra, she was into, you know, dining at the Clam Slam. She was into that.
Clam Slam.
She slammed clams. She dined at the oyster bar. She was all into that.
Bella Downsy fingered Dora the Explorer on HBO.
There is nobody of merit there. It's for their new fan base. That's who D23 is for. Everybody who went there knowing they sniff crotch and suck shit.
Ooh, so exciting.
There was high top fade, Dre. There's been so many over the years. Cornrows, all of them.
Just let your soul go. Just let it shine through. Just let your soul go, baby. Feeling oh so silky smooth.
Listen, I've said this before. I'm going to say it again. The only reason the world hasn't probably imploded is because of porn. Because you take away the porn, World War IV happens. We're going to skip over World War III. We're going right to World War IV. All right? We need release. We need relaxation. We need things. Whatever scratches your itch, whatever gets you going, whatever gets a rise out of you. As long as you keep it to yourself and you're not hurting anybody else, especially kids, more power to. I don't care if you're a goddamn furry. I just want to see it. But people need their release to stay calm, to stay relaxed. All right? You take that away, enjoy an actual revolution where people of all sides don't agree on anything, will come together and say, no, I'm not living under this world where I can't touch myself. All right? No, this is the reality we live in. It's just there. And as long as somebody's getting hurt, everybody's having a good time. Just because you are either a frigid or an erectile dysfunctional is not a problem that I care about. All right? You know what? There is a single reason why I wouldn't want to become a merman. I wouldn't have my penis anymore. And these tool bags wouldn't know quality if it walked up and motorboated them. Because, you're going to motorboat quality.
Wait, what?
Quality boobs. You want to motorboat quality boobs.
There we go. All better now. Man, titties are the greatest things on earth.
So I listen to the porn rant every time I put it in here for that thing, and it's one of those occasions where I have no idea where the words come from. It's like it's that ability. You just start riffing, and you have no idea what happens, and sometimes you get comedy gold that I have to live with. Hail and howdy, everybody. Welcome to the round table where, to start it off today, you got the Ginger and the Jew because Dragon Lady has got the weekend off, and Dre
She's too busy dealing with the 75-degree weather in the UK.
Oh,
she just
boo-hoo.
can't withstand it.
All right, right now for me, it's 94 for me. What's it for you right now?
Let me check. Right now for me, it's 89. So a little
it's
bit
actually
cooler.
hotter. Well, we're both technically in a swamp. It's just you're like you're on an even swamp. I'm in a valley swamp is what I'm in. So we're both in a swamp.
It's the humidity that's the killer though.
Yeah. I mean, I after this I will go outside for like 5 minutes to take out the trash and put some things in the car, and then it's.
Oh, I have to mow the lawn after this.
Oh,
it's gonna be fun.
Yeah, because you own property. Anyway, so Dre will be here a bit. He's running behind schedule. But either way, so welcome everybody, roundtable, where I think we've got a decent show today. I'm not going to pretend that it's a stellar set of topics today. It's been a strange week. We all know the world is moving, and we're here to talk pop culture. So that's what we're going to do.
The world usually does move.
Yes,
that's a good thing.
But it doesn't revolve around us. It revolves around the sun, and we can accept that. We are not the stars of this show. We are simply players. And we are here to entertain you the best we can. But hail and howdy to everybody. We hope you're having a good day. Jed, how you doing?
Oh, I'm doing great. I'm always happy to be here for a new episode of The Ginger and the Jews with the great chat, the bras in the chat supporting us. And I think we're going to have a good discussion. It worked out. We have some Doctor Who stuff to talk about. So we have the two Doctor Who people to talk about it without having to watch Dre's eyes glaze over.
Well, he's taken to that. He'll just go off camera now. He'll just like, I'm gonna eat something while these two white boys talk about Doctor Who. That's what I'm gonna do.
We're gonna get him into Doctor Who someday.
I don't know about that.
We can't start him with the Doctor that was made for him, though. I don't think he'd be able to go through Shudigatwa. No. But I feel like he could dig some Tenet. Some Satan Pit would be a good place to start him.
Yeah, I get you'd have to give him something intellectual, something good. Anyway, so hail and howdy to the chat joining us today. It's the mods are talking. We see several of you there, but the mods are the ones talking. Hail Algorithm the Strong and Ruben X. Legatus is not here. The bot actually grew legs and walked off to have to do something else. He will not be joining us. He just let me know. People think Legatus, he's always here. No, Legatus does have a real life. He does this out of his own goodwill in free time to help us out with all the modding stuff. So Legatus is out for this week and next weekend too, apparently. But hail, good sir, Algorithm Strong, Ruben X. They are here to do the work, to be good mods. I saw Joxer, son of Joxer, and Hail, son of Joxer. I saw you in there as well. And everybody else who are just sitting there having a good time. We're happy to have you with us on this Sunday afternoon, where we hope you enjoy this show. And the best thing you can do is hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. I am almost at 4,000. All right, Jed knows this. So on the makeup show yesterday for the Daily Dive, everybody did a valiant effort to try and get me over 4,000 because I had lost a few in the intervening days where I was without power and I'm able to make content. We got to 4,008 subscribers, and YouTube promptly took them all away 20 minutes later. All of them gone. Back. So
that's YouTube for you.
Yeah. So I listen. Do I think all those were non-bot accounts? Maybe one, maybe two that got swept up in the sudden rush of subscribers. But guys, I love it that your support is there, and I know you want to see me succeed and get the channel over 4,000. But the bot accounts, YouTube does realize if it's not your main account, and they will strip them away pretty quickly. So let's get the push out there. Let's spread the word, because there's a whole wide audience out there that just doesn't know I exist. It's that simple. Let's just get the word out there. Share,
and they should know.
Yeah, listen. They should know the algorithm. I've been at this for 4 years. Let's be honest, 4 years. I honestly thought I'd be a little farther along, but I don't play the game the way some people do. So I go my own way, and I don't follow trends, and I don't do the smart things sometimes to chase the dragon and try and get everybody to pay attention to me for reasons. But I go my own way, and I do believe in the end that will benefit me, that I am my own special, unique, weird flavor on this channel, on this platform. Either way, so guys, I appreciate all your support. Share the video, share the streams, hit the like button, keep on chatting, all that kind of good stuff, because you guys are what is going to propel us forward. And we have a lot of cool things planned. We're a little behind schedule this week because I lost power. I had intended to do so much more yesterday, but I had to get in one more stream. Because we didn't do it on Friday. Either way, okay. So we've got what I believe is a decent show today. It's not stellar. It's decent. We are going to talk box office. We do have box office to talk about. Good comparisons. Good preparations. Next week, the game begins. Or a week and a half. The game begins. We're going to reach July, and the fight for the summer box office truly begins. Everything else has been foreplay up to this point. Foreplay.
Yeah, but it's a fight that we know the result of.
Wrestling. We know what's gonna. It's already written. We just have to see it play out.
Dinosaurs are gonna win.
Mm-hmm.
It's that simple. Girl Boss does not override dinosaurs.
Yeah, we'll look at that because Jed sent me something that is just.
I don't know if it's real, but it's hilarious.
It's hilarious.
Either way.
Yeah, it's there's a lot of marketing out there for baby steps that is sad. We could talk. I mean, I touched on it earlier week. We could talk about the Little Caesars thing. We could talk about, you've seen the Mr. Fantastic popcorn bucket, right?
The Galactus head?
No, the Mr. Fantastic one.
No.
Oh. Before I show it, basically it's mini Pedro Pascal with his arm wrapped around the bucket.
That's so weird. And I just verified it is real. The thing I sent you, there's a whole line of them. They have all the other people too.
All right, so that's kind of in line with our topic, pathetic MCU. Pathetic MCU. The marketing campaign for Baby Steps is sad and pathetic. At the same time, they dropped an announcement. Punisher's going to be in the new Spider-Man movie. And it's not like the good John Bernthal Punisher people liked from Netflix Daredevil. No, it's going to be MCU Punisher. The one you saw in Daredevil Aborted. So, yeah, I said that.
I haven't heard it called that before. That's pretty great. I'm going to have to start using that.
So it's that one. So that's already that. Let's see. They've got Mark Ruffalo's dumbass Hulk. Now you've got MCU Punisher, Bernthal Punisher. You've got two villains in that are not even part of Spider-Man's Rogues Gallery. He's got a gallery that I like better than Batman. I'm more of a Spider-Man guy than a Batman guy, but you've got a Spider-Man Rogues Gallery that's equal to Batman's Rogues Gallery, and you're stooping in the Silver Samurai. That's a Wolverine villain. And we need Dre here for that kind of confirmation. I might be a little off. So we're going to save that till Dre gets here. So there's pathetic MCU. Box office, pathetic MCU. And then I want to have a discussion. Something that spawned by discussions I've had with Jed and other people in the recent weeks, is the ability to have intelligent discourse dead on topics. Is it dead? Are we incapable of having nuanced discussion, or is everybody so tribalized that there's no ability to actually sit down and have a nuanced take on something, both love and hate? We're gonna have that talk. We're gonna have that talk. And on top of that, as Jet said, we do have a little Doctor Who news that we can get to. In fact, we'll get to that right now because we don't want to have Dre be bothered with it. So we got a little bit of news. I mean, all right. Somebody ask you this, Jet. Is Shooty Who canceled?
Yes, Shooty Who is canceled. I fully believe that they might limp along. They might do a special in a few years, but we are officially in Wilderness Years Part 2. And I think we're going to be in Wilderness Years for a while. This whole 2 years before the next season comes out, I think that is optimistic as hell. So I don't think it's coming back, at least in full season mode, for a while yet, because everyone saw the ratings. And even the mainstream and access media is starting to talk about how poorly received it was. And the stands are going after Russell T. Davies for how season 2 ended. So it's a perfect storm. And Disney never wanted to be involved in this. I thought it was an easy win because they were aware of the David Tennant popularity from back in the day. Heard David Tennant was coming back and it's like, oh, great. We're going to make an easy buck off of this. They had no idea the hellfire that they were getting themselves into. And the BBC, they don't give a shit anymore. They literally pawned it off to whoever would take it. Otherwise, they would have canceled it after the Jodie Whittaker run. So they're not invested in the show continuing. So I fully believe we're in Wilderness Years Part 2. I hope it's at least a decade before we see new Doctor Who again. We might see an occasional special or a TV movie like we did with Paul McGann, but we're not seeing another season of television for at least a few years now.
I mean, you mentioned all of that, and I called it Shooty Who, but I can't even call it Shooty Who anymore because he's gone. He's out. And I'm not going to call it Billy Who because we don't even know if Billie Piper's really the Doctor.
Peter Davidson doesn't think she's the Doctor. That was big news this week.
But there's a lot of that in. So we started off, but you said several important things in that statement. Disney never wanted in this. Disney thought it was going to be quick, easy money. They were going to invest it and get a return. No. And that's part of the false understanding by the stands. A lot of them in the aftermath, and when you said the stands are angry at RTD, they're angry at him for different reasons than we are.
Oh, absolutely.
They think that Shooty was done dirty. They think that Belligerent was done dirty and all that kind of stuff. They hate RTD for that. And they yell at Disney. A lot of in the immediate aftermath of the failure of that finale, people going, F you, Disney, how you ruined it. Disney had zero creative control in this, right, Jed?
I don't know if I would say they had no official creative control. Yeah. I'm sure if they wanted to, they could have influenced things, but I don't think they cared enough to influence.
Let me rephrase that. They didn't actively insert themselves into the production.
I agree.
Okay,
I agree with that.
I phrased that incorrectly. You're correct. Disney probably could have leaned in and said, we want this, but they were actively disengaged from the production of the show. They weren't giving RTD notes. They didn't have any producers there, nothing. They left it, it was completely in RTD's hands.
Well, they knew they could trust him because he is one of the most political creators in the world right now. So,
but what they were was the money. Plain and simple. Boiled down, they were the money, and they were not directly involved in creating anything. But the stands don't get that. They thought they adopted what we say all the time, F you, Disney. In our case, Disney is directly involved in the shit that we usually report on. They have their hands on MCU. Kathleen Kennedy is doing everything Disney wants when it comes to Star Wars. She is. Don't tell me she's not. And Pixar. We're going to talk Pixar. Disney's actively involved in all that kind of stuff. But Doctor Who, that was an investment. That wasn't a Disney property. It's not exactly under the Disney umbrella. Like you said, the BBC runs Doctor Who show, but they didn't care either. This week, they just announced they hired a new Whammons to take charge of creative stuff at BBC. And I said it on Double D's. I said, gee, I wonder if one of her first things is going to be is to fire RTD and get rid of Doctor Who. And we got this a short time later. We don't know what's happening yet, Doctor Who showrunner admits, as a series of media future hangs in the balance. Doctor showrunner Russell T Davies has said he still doesn't know whether the series will be renewed for a new season in the immediate future, as the flagship BBC show status grows increasingly unclear. Amid mixed response, Doctor Who's current era, and a growing sense that Disney's recent co-production deal will not be renewed, fans have been left waiting to find out whether the veteran sci-fi series will return. I ask again, what fans?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking as well. But I'm surprised IGN is taking this balanced of a take. Like, they're being neutral. I mean, IGN is not usually this neutral in my experience.
No, they're not. But I also chose it because I didn't want a white screen behind.
Well, yeah. I just think nobody gives a shit about keeping up the company line about Doctor Who being better than ever, so people could just show their apathy like this.
Yep. The series' most recent finale ended with the departure of stars Ncuti Gatwa in a sequence added during later reshoots. Look at that. They're actually telling the truth that it was a last-minute reshoot for his regeneration. Ooh, hey, listen, like you said, IGN, they're actually telling the right story here. They're not making shit up so far.
And Fuller supports what we were saying. We called this as reshoots early on before it was officially announced that all that stuff was reshooted.
Yeah.
And the lie that, this was always the plan. Ncuti Gatwa saying in a behind the scenes interview, this was always the plan to end after 2 seasons. We were never going to do any more, even though the end of the last season said, I'm going to be here for many years to come. He literally said he's going to keep this face for many years.
Yeah.
So, we knew there was a big change up that happened, a big crisis that happened somewhere during the filming of season 2 that led to this. And we're being vindicated.
Yes, because we used facts and logic. We used the facts that the show is doing terrible, and we made logical assessments based upon their words and not matching up with the actions being taken by the BBC and Bad Wolf Studios and what they were doing. So we simply put the pieces together, and here we are, like you just said, vindicated, because we made clear assessments of what was going on. And an unexplained regeneration cliffhanger featuring Billie Piper with her official status as the next Doctor left up for debate. Now Davies has said he is uncertain what will happen next. Writing in the latest issue of Doctor Who magazine in a regular column where the showrunner reveals details of the series' ongoing production, Davies admitted there was little currently to cover. We don't know what's happening yet. And while everyone works that out, I'll take a pause on this page. Hopefully, we'll have news soon. Jed, he's already moved on to another network, hasn't he?
I mean, yeah, he has that new gay TV show that he's coming out with. So his focus has changed. He's on to other and bigger, better things by his perspective. So he doesn't care anymore. But yeah, this is saying that they're going to stop this section of the Doctor Who magazine entirely, keeping up with the production. And that really tells you they have no intentions of moving forward, in my opinion. So I don't think he cares one way or another. I still stand by that he wanted to come back to end the show, and maybe that didn't work out the way he wanted to, but I think he wishes he could have ended it, because then there wouldn't be this, hey, is it dead now because of your failure? He could have ended it on his own terms. I'm actually disappointed that we didn't have the end of Doctor Who and the season ended with him dying or something, or riding off the sunset or whatever ending.
That was your belief that RTD was going to sink the ship that he set out to sea with 20 years ago.
And I think whether or not that was his original plan, I think he regrets not doing it now, because he could still call it a successful run on Doctor Who if he had ended himself. But with the show in limbo, not even being canceled, just in limbo. Totally. That looks bad for him. And so, yeah, I think he regrets it either way.
Yep. Well, I love it that it ended like that, because we can have this conversation and we can point to the fact that we said this when it started. Russell T Davies was in the unique position to repeat history and save the sinking ship, or in this, or it wasn't sinking before. It was in the wilderness, as you put it. We were in the wilderness years to set out, retrieve it, refurbish it, and set out to sea with a new, brand spanking new ship. In this case, he had a chance to save the ship from sinking and set it back on course. But as we've talked about repeatedly, he's not the same man he was 20 years ago. Whatever it is that happened, either personal or professionally, RTD became a political hack and cared more about bludgeoning us with ideology rather than doing what he did when he first came back, with Eccleston and Tenant #1, where he made episodes and told stories that presented all aspects, not just his political worldview. And he always was who he was in terms of what he believed, but there was a period of time where he was capable of separating himself from his ideology and making good entertainment content. Not the case anymore, which now we have the results, lowest ratings ever. His return, I mean, Chin Balls did horrific ratings and owned those horrible ratings for his period. And then RTD came back and said, hang on, I'm now going to own every lowest rated Doctor Who in history, overnight at least.
Yeah, I think he has all but one of the lowest rated episodes of all time. Like, there's one Jodie Whittaker era that is lower than some of his, and that's it. That's not a good track record. His season was consistently or entirely beneath the average when the show was canceled in the 80s, when there were less people in the world, less people in the UK, and it was an international show. More people were watching it in the 80s in the UK than are watching it today. That's a failure of untold proportions.
Yep. And if I hate it that I have to quote what Dreo says to me here because it hurts my soul that I have to go away from my positivity in that sense. If it has to die, it has to die. As it says right here at the end of the article here, nobody knows what's going on. We got the spinoff, the War Between Land and the Sea. But Jed, have you seen any real promotion for that right now?
No real promotion. I see the trailers because the BBC is in my algorithm and whatnot, but not out in the wild. I occasionally did see some Doctor Who stuff out in the wild, like it would come up on a banner on Disney Plus or whatnot. But yeah, War Between the Land and the Sea, they had no marketing budget whatsoever. It's the only thing that is keeping Disney from canceling Doctor Who, I think, because of course you don't want to ruin the marketing for your spin-off show by saying the main show has been canceled before it comes out. That's just marketing 101. I don't even blame them for that. That just makes sense. So I think as soon as War Between the Land and the Sea comes out, we'll get official news about Doctor Who's cancellation. Because if it was good news, they'd have already released it right now. So lack of news with the spinoff coming up, I see as proof that bad news is coming for the show's future.
It's Wheel of Time all over again. When that was running, even though it was a disaster, before the seasons even started, before the seasons even finished, they would announce the next season. Shooty Who season 1, they announced Shooty Who season 2 while we were still reviewing it. They announced it. But what happened with Wheel of Time? Show ends, radio silence for over a month. Nothing. Here we are. We have what now? We're now 3 weeks removed from the finale. And nothing. Nothing. Questions. Wondering. And when you get to this point, you know that it's done. And you talk about coming back with a special 2 years, but a special for what? A special for what? Even IGN has admitted nobody knows if Billy Piper is the next Doctor. And and let's be honest, nobody wanted this. Even the stands have rejected Billy Piper as the Doctor. There's like a small, tiny sliver, even less needle moving percentage of stands that are going, oh, she's so pretty. I'm so happy to see her again. Those times of idiots. But they are like, I can't push my fingers close enough together to show you how small they are in the percentage of standum. And the stands are like this. So I can't, I can only, physics don't allow me to do this. So
now I heard a theory from these stands, and I actually think it would be hilarious. Like, I want this to happen now, is for this potential Billy Piper special, that the rumors of her being the TARDIS are true in this hypothetical sense, because she, connected with the TARDIS at the end of season 1 of the revival. And it's basically an Idris from the Doctor's Wife situation, where it's a physical manifestation of the TARDIS. And the entire special is just a farewell tour to the Doctor. Like, the Doctor died, and she's just going over the greatest hits of the Doctor's life and saying goodbye, like an extended eulogy or memoriam for the Doctor, and that's all the special is. I kind of want that to be true. That would be hilariously bad if they make a special that's just Again, they call it like the funeral of the Doctor or something like that. And it's just Billy Piper's TARDIS saying, "We loved him, didn't we? He was the best of us, and now he's dead."
But he isn't, because
he faded off and became part of the universe.
Let's run with that for half a second, okay? Let's run with that for half a second. And I'm going to use the facts and the logic that RTD gave us. David Tennant 14 is still there. Who technically, if we're gonna play their game and pretend Jodie Whittaker was actually the Doctor and all that shit, Ncuti Gatwa, and I say this all seriousness, and I've said it for jokes, Ncuti Gatwa Doctor is a clone. By generation is cloning. It's not the same soul. It's literally a clone. Whoever was there first is the real thing. What spawns out of that is a clone. His TARDIS is a clone. That's not even the real TARDIS. He used a magic hammer and knocked it out of the actual TARDIS.
Well, why would you even do that? Since 14's not going to use his TARDIS, just leave it the same TARDIS.
Yeah, so all this stuff about everybody being sad that Ncuti's gone, that clone could die. Because it's not the Doctor. It never was the Doctor. It was a clone with the Doctor's memories.
Well, that's why when the Ronnie Bai regenerated, Russell put so much emphasis on the fact that the previous one was subservient to the new one, and the subservient one was the real Ronnie, and she's just a Ronnie, the old one. That was specifically to get people to stop talking about where's 14, where's 14. But also playing by their own rules, the moment Indian Ronnie was eaten by space demon Bone Baby, Mrs. Flood, the old Ronnie, is like, I'm the real Ronnie again. I'm the newest Ronnie. So
good day for me.
Yeah, good day for her. So she's the Ronnie now again, which if Ncuti dies, by their own rules, even with the like, hey, don't think about 14 anymore, the establishing with that retcon makes 14 the Doctor again. So even if Ncuti isn't a clone, by their own rules, 14 becomes the Doctor again when Ncuti dies. So no matter how you spin this, 14's still out there and is the Doctor by their rules.
Yep. And hi, Dre. You can take a powder. We're still talking Doctor Who.
I don't think you can hear us.
I don't think you
I
hear
made it. I made it.
Yeah, you can take a powder. We're still talking Doctor Who. You're good. Okay. No, so 14 would still be there, and good or bad, the Doctor is still there, and it would lead into the rumors that the 14 Billy Piper thing would happen. Then that would lead into it. So bottom line though, it's a mess. It's a mess. It's falling apart. Disney's going to pull its money. As I said a couple minutes ago, the BBC just hired a new creative control person, a new Whammons, which likely means she doesn't want anything to do with this because she wants to start off her career as head of creative development at the BBC without the albatross that is currently Doctor Who. And if it goes away, like we've said, it needs to go away for a long time. Like Jed said, at least a decade. And when it comes back, it needs to be helmed by somebody who has the balls to erase everything from the past 6 years. Just wipe it out. Pretend it didn't happen. Or not pretend it happened. No, that's the wrong way to put it. Excuse me. That's how you have to put it. You have to say, Timeless Children didn't happen. Everything with Jodie Whittaker to Ncuti didn't happen.
Bring back Capaldi for an augmented regeneration scene. That's what you have to do.
Yeah.
Or write it in somehow, like how Legatus is always saying. Yeah. The Jodie and Ncuti era was projections in the Matrix from the Master. Have it something like that.
I mean, I say, I've said it before, I'll say again, you back up several Brinks trucks to Peter Capaldi. You say, we'll give you a 2-hour special. We'll give you a 2-hour special to really make it right. And then we'll let you, and then we'll and then we'll go from there.
And I'd give him a writing credit because he absolutely loves the show. And I think that would be a big way to get him back, is saying, you understand this character. You love your Doctor. We want to honor your Doctor. So you will have veto power over any changes we make to your doctor.
I mean, what is the most common phrase we hear when talking about Peter Capaldi? Those who stuck with it and watched it. We love Capaldi. We just wish he had better material to work with, and he did the best he could. It's never a criticism of Capaldi. It's a criticism of the content he had to work with. Give him one more chance. Give him another chance. I would love that. I would love it. That would be a lot of fun.
There's just doctors who deserve more than they got. I say Capaldi and McGann mainly. Paul McGann deserves a full season on his own. Like a mini series to bring him back, I think would be phenomenal. But even some of the classic doctors, like Colin Baker, deserved better. His costume was fucking ridiculous, and his writing wasn't good.
You know what I say, and I think since they set the tone of that with Tom Baker, that the Doctor could bring back an old face, and RTD butchered it by bringing back 10 in his 14. Why not give Paul McGann another chance?
Paul McGann especially, because there's so much gaps in his. A lot of the other doctors went on to do great things in Big Finish. Even Paul McGann's 8th Doctor adventures with Big Finish are actually really good. Those are some of the my favorite Big Finishes that I've seen. Him actually working with Haley Atwell and Paul McGann in those.
I'd work with Haley Atwell every day,
but
with two hands even. I'd work with Haley Atwell.
But yeah, Paul McGann has the most potential to be able to come back. Colin Baker at least got a full show.
Like, man, the boy never changes. But so I mean, let Paul McGann regenerate Peter Capaldi into Paul McGann. Give him a fresh doctor, a true 13, not Jodie.
I wouldn't do that just because that would seem a little bit too much like David Tennant in the 60th. I would just do a mini series and say this is Paul McGann.
All right, that's fair.
As the 8th Doctor, just for simplicity's sake.
Fair. I can understand that. I'll just think of ways to give Paul McGann a chance.
He deserves a chance. He deserves a great chance. But the other big thing going on with Doctor Who right now is, I don't know if you saw it, J. Michael Straczynski came out and said,
yes,
hey,
I did see that. Yeah.
Would fans be okay with me trying to put my hat in the ring to show run Doctor Who as an American? Is that okay with people? And I have complicated opinions on that, but if you want to go ahead.
No, we could talk about that just to round it out. Listen, JMS had a vision for 4 seasons of Babylon 5, and they were great. After that, what has he done? Failure. I'm all for, I'm not totally against the idea of a true creative who might not be British coming in there to run it, but JMS, he ain't got nothing left in the tank. He got nothing. So I don't want him anywhere near trying to do this, because he ain't he's another guy who succumbed to agenda in a lot of ways. So I don't want JMS anywhere near this. Those are my complete thoughts on that. So
I 100% agree with that. J. Michael Straczynski doesn't have enough good work to his credit these days. Like, he did Sense8, I believe that was him, and that was a woke disaster. That thing was, from what I saw, the little that I saw was awful. So I wouldn't want him anywhere near it. But an American, it could work as long as they admitted the shortcoming when it came to representing British culture and surrounded themselves with experts in British culture.
Good writer's room.
A good writer, as long as the showrunner said, I'm not British, but I'm going to do my utmost to still represent British culture and have people around me who can correct me when my Americanisms come out. If a statement like that is made, I can go to board with a real creator. I mean, that's how I always look at it. If if the stars align and I could ever work on Doctor Who, that's imagine what I would say. But if I were to bring it back, I'd have real creatives involved. Like, they've been saying no to, I don't know if you knew about this, Peter Jackson tried to direct and write an episode of Doctor Who back in the day.
I remember hearing that, yeah.
And they said no. They told Peter Jackson no.
Yeah.
I would go to him and say, hey, do you still have that idea? Would you like to give it a shot? And just things like that. That would bring attention to the show right now. Yeah,
we need stimulate interest.
For a new revival, you need stimulation. You need people who are saying, wipe out Jodie Whittaker, Shudigawa, bringing in Peter Jackson temporarily, and all this big stuff. You need a lot of stimulus, and I think that's the perspective to go on it.
You want somebody with passion and love to be a part of the project, because that will infect everybody about it. It'll spread, and it's like, okay, we're having a good time. Let's do this. And then
it has to be a long break, though. At least 10 years, maybe 20.
And listen, God, I'll be older man at that point. Good Lord.
I'll still be fresh, ready to go.
I hate you right now. Point is, and if they do it, that if they go that long, of course, Peter Capaldi is no longer an option. He's not a spring chicken. It would have to be some sort of CGI stuff. And then the question is, do you go at that point a complete unknown like Matt Smith, or do you find somebody that will have serious gravitas that can hold down a brief stint as the Doctor to try and get us to someplace better?
I would do the companion be a famous actress.
Ooh,
a real big name, hot British actress.
Sexy.
And it's very sexy. And the Doctor, we don't care how famous he is. He could be the most famous actor or a no-name. Focus on his ability to play the character. He can be even less known than Matt Smith or more known than Benedict Cumberbatch. Whatever it is, focus on the Doctor being the best Doctor you can make it and have the publicity stimulus come from the companion. Like Karen Gillan, if she hadn't been in Doctor Who at this point, she'd be a great choice for something like that now with how big her career is.
Yeah. So bring back the hotness. Bring back the hotness. Like, if I were to do it, it would be one female companion. We don't need the fam and the four characters or whatever. Just focus on the Doctor. Yeah.
One companion and make her young and sexy.
And no nostalgia companions other than that new players. And don't play it safe. Big villains. The big villains. Daleks, Cybermen, old school, shit like that. Let's go balls to the wall. Go nuts. Make it crazy.
They've ruined the Ronnie, though. I love the Ronnie from Classic Who. I wouldn't want to touch her for a very long time because they ruined her.
Yeah. All right. Dre's here, so we don't get to talk.
Yeah, we were getting to nerdgasm territory there.
Yeah, which we will.
That makes perfect sense to me.
I have been talking about it. I've got an idea. I just need to run it past Jed. I talked about with Derby. We have an idea for a day, but I need to run past Jed. So Nerdgasm Doctor Who coming soon. We promise it. Don't worry. It'll happen. Just got to get it on the right day. Hi, Dre. How are you?
What's going on, everybody? I'm glad I finally made it. It's been a heck of a Sunday. My son's not here yet, just for the historical record.
You wouldn't be here if he was here right now.
Or we would yell at you if you were here and the son was here, and Adam would kick you off.
Yeah, but as of today, we are 9 months. Today is month 9.
Any minute
now.
Your phone's on right now, right?
Oh, you better believe it. So, so if I disappear and you see my do-rag fly off and hit the ceiling, that's what's going down. But I'm doing all right. Had a pretty busy week, but I'm glad to be here. Glad to make it.
Excellent. Yeah. Fortunately, as I said, you clearly saw I had a perfect segment to just wait to get us through till you got here.
Perfect.
You did fine. And we do have stuff left. So now that Dre's here, it's box office time. It's now this is the pregame. The main event's coming in a week and a half. It begins. So once again, let's rehash. We're gonna check in on Lilo and Stitch, and here we are. It's on the doorstep of $1 billion, but this is, I believe, now wrong button. This is now week 5.
Only a 38% drop.
Yeah, but
I mean, it is the 4th week, but
look what it's pulling in now, though. Pulling in only 9 million. Look at how little it doesn't. I don't think it has the juice anymore. I mean, international. I don't think there's another 90 million out there.
I don't think so either.
They'd have to leave it in for an extra month or two. That's what I was saying. If it's the classic 45-day window, they're not going to make it. If they make it the earlier 90 or 60-day window, they might limp across there. And I think my predictions from last week still hold with that.
Because let's realize what's going on here. Let's jump over here. How to Train Your Dragon continues to own. It's not breaking down walls or anything. It's not busting down doors. It's doing quality stuff. I mean, let's see its hold. Only a 56% drop. That's fine.
Yep,
that's fine.
It's doing well. It's not doing fantastic though. The budget was like what 150. So
150, I believe. Yeah.
So it needs about 450 to break even, 500 to break even, 500 just to be safe. Yeah. It'll get there. It's probably going to be week 4. I think that it breaks even. Maybe week 3.
Here's the problem. In a week and a half. Dinosaurs.
That's gonna kill it.
How to Train Your Dragon has a week and a half left. Lilo and Stitch has a week and a half left.
Yep.
20 years later, I don't care about this movie. I've heard a lot of
What's the budget?
Budget says 60.
Ooh, it's not making money. If it's
It
a week out
needs
from Dinosaurs,
150. It needs 150
yeah,
to
it's
make profit.
It's not making profit.
And
That's
this was
what I'm
never
saying
going to
here.
be a blockbuster anyway. It was
Yeah,
niche. And
it's a niche franchise.
And due to the mixed reaction we're hearing, it might just go off real quick. It's not the people who were a lot of people who were so enthused by that initial trailer are not enthused by the movie, from what I hear. I haven't watched it. I don't care about it. Not my franchise. Dre, do you care about this one?
No, not at all. I think I saw the first one when it came out. I think that was 2002. I think when the first one came out. That's the last time I actually laid eyes on the 28 franchise. Was 23 years ago. So I don't really care.
Yeah.
I remember the film being solid. That's all I really remember. But it's I might have to rewatch them just to see if I can turn the key. But I really had no interest in this film.
Yeah.
Honestly, and I knew it was going to be niche anyway. But it's coming out in the wrong time, and they could have just held this off to, like, I don't know, the fall, and I don't think it would have.
Honestly, zombies. Why not release zombies around Halloween? I never.
Fall. Yeah, perfect. Yeah, September, October. You know, I think this movie would have done a whole lot better because now you got a gimmick for the holiday season or what have you.
It's not a summer blockbuster, so we can't compete with summer blockbusters.
No, not at all.
And we look at it again. It's already up against two movies that, granted, different genres. This is horror movie. These are family-friendly movies. But still, there's only if the parents are taking the kids to see the family-friendly stuff, they're not going to go see the horror movie. So there's limited room running now, and we're running out of room. Again, I say, in a week and a half, July 2nd, Dinosaurs.
It's over.
We'll trample everything.
They better pull all this stuff out of the cinemas by that time because they're just going to be It'll just be costing the studios money.
Clear the path.
Yeah, just everybody just get out the way.
Besides Lilo and Stitch, which has obviously made a very good amount of profit at this point, do we think the other two are even going to break even? Because I don't think How to Train Your Dragon at this point is going to break even. With 500 million and Dinosaurs next week,
is it 500? Oh, I thought it was 450.
150,
450 to 500.
450, 500. I mean, it all depends on the international. I think this thing will not see much more domestic rise. It depends if the international decides to step up.
I'm inclined to agree with that. Because even if you look at Lilo and Stitch, the international is carrying that junk big time. Like,
that's respectable. 386 is respectable for domestic. That's respectable.
That international number is still up there. And I wouldn't expect the international numbers to be that high, personally. They are really riding the wave, and good for them.
But it's run out of steam. It's clearly run out of steam.
Big action movies like Jurassic Park, though, they do better internationally anyway. So I think Jurassic Park will actually take more oxygen out of the room in the international market over the domestic market.
Probably so.
When it releases in China, China's going to lap up dinosaurs. Just like they do Avatar and whatnot. Big CGI action fests. They're great over there. And international people love that because they don't have to worry about subtitles as much.
So we are very clearly seeing what's going on here. Lilo and Stitch, it's made its money. It will likely not hit billion because it's run out of time. If it's only pulling in on a weekly basis right now, 2 million, 3 million for this week.
It's going to hit 1 million this week.
It'll be 1 million next week. The international's doesn't have much left in it. It doesn't have enough time to reach a billion because of Dinosaurs. How to Train Your Dragon. It's turned into what we thought what the best case scenario was. It isn't terrible. It respected the source material, but it doesn't deserve its existence, as Dre always says. It hasn't justified its existence.
Yes,
and
this
shows you right here, people are not going back for rewatch.
No, not at all.
There's no repeat viewings. So it has fallen off. It might squeak out breaking even, but it will not hit $700 million.
No.
Some people were saying that. That ain't happening. It might not be the flop I predicted, but it's not necessarily going to be a real success.
Yeah.
It's very middle of the road. And I understand why studios don't do this, but an interesting experiment would be to, like, a month before a live action remake comes out, release the original in theaters. Like, if the original animated film had come out a month or two before this, just as like, hey, to refresh yourself, get it on the big screen, have fun, see how much money that makes. That's why theaters would never, or studios would never do that, because they don't want to distract. So I get their reasoning why, but it would be a fun experiment to see the original go head to head with this in theater. And I think every time the original is going to win.
Yes. Now we're going to move 28 years later from the equation because it's not a contender in any of this stuff. It was never expected to make a lot of money. It was created for a niche audience. So these guys have they've run out of time. They've run out of time because dinosaurs. But on top of everything, Disney gets a win with Lilo and Stitch. Fair to say. Made money.
Yeah, it's okay to give them a win every few years.
Whoopsies.
Wait, it's 35 worldwide? I thought that was the domestic number. Oh my God.
I'll refresh it again.
What the heck is Elio?
It's the new Pixar movie. All right, I'll explain this movie to you.
Communism.
Right. Yeah, there's this 10-year-old boy who's the daughter of an Air Force woman.
You said 10-year-old boy who's the daughter. You said 10-year-old boy who's the daughter.
Yeah, you said daughter.
10-year-old boy who's the son of an Air Force woman. But he's dreaming of space and having friends, and everyone bullies him because his head's in the cloud. And then one day he randomly gets kidnapped by aliens because that's what he's obsessed with. Like, he has a sign that says, "Please abduct me, please probe me," and shit like that. Well, he gets abducted and goes on an adventure through communist alien utopia with the son of an evil warlord dictator who there's a scene where lava's coming down a tunnel at this son of the dictator and the Elio, the main kid, and the alien's like, "Wait, you're not lava proof?" "No, I'm not lava proof." "All right, well then get in my mouth." And so the little boy crawls in the alien's mouth and just hides inside his stomach while the lava rolls over them. That's the type of humor.
In my mouth. Oh, God.
So he did some probing of his own.
35 million worldwide.
That's
on
crazy.
a stated budget. I've heard otherwise when it comes to the budget, that it was much more than this, but they're saying on $150 million.
Oh, no.
I've heard it was over 200 million. Maybe almost 300.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was at least 200. But even with that 150, that's still a 450 break even, being conservative, 400 to be really conservative.
Yeah.
It's not going to cross 100.
So what you're saying is that Lilo and Stitch money is gone.
That's the point. The $400 to $500 million that they net profited off Lilo and Stitch, wiped out immediately. It just got wiped out completely right here. This movie is the biggest Pixar failure of all time now. And we have to say that because,
why is the budget so high?
I don't know, and it's not even. This isn't even good Pixar animation. It's not even good Pixar animation.
Oh, it looks awful. And that's why, I don't know if you guys heard, Disney is actually hiring 2D artists as they're considering moving away from 3D films now after the recent failures.
Good! I have been saying for 20 years, why did you abandon classic animation?
I think there should be a mix. Like, I do like a lot of 3D animation when it's good, like back in the day.
Tangled was the last good. Tangled, I give Tangled a pass because they did a great job with Tangled.
That was a great movie.
Yeah, I enjoyed that movie.
The rest of it, I miss 2D animation.
Just do both.
But yeah, they have abandoned, and they tried that abomination with Wish, going halfway between, and that failed. I mean, this is doing worse than Wish. That's how bad this is.
Well, no one gives a shit about this. There's not even a big cast to carry it like Wish did. Wish at least had, like Chris Pine and whatnot. This, I don't even know who's in Elio.
Oh, who cares? Who cares? And that's the point. Nobody cares. This is creative bankruptcy. And I mean, because remember, what else has Pixar got coming out? Oh, another Toy Story.
Wait, is that this year?
Not this year, but they're working.
But yeah, that's their next big release, I think.
Toy Story 5 is coming.
And aren't we so ready for an iPad to be a villain? It's not like that debate would have been a lot more, impactful a decade ago.
Wait, is that true?
Yeah, an iPad's going to be the villain.
No.
A tablet.
What?
I doubt they're going to call it an iPad so they don't piss off Apple, but yeah, it's a tablet.
Well, they've said
Stealing the attention away from toys.
I hadn't heard that. At the same time, also, apparently, Jessie's going to be the star of this one. She's going to be the
Oh, of course. Because they sunsetted Woody twice in a row.
Oh, that's right. In the last one, he went off with Bo Peep, right? And they're having weird
plastic
toy
babies.
or something.
Toy sets,
yeah, right.
Where they have no junk, so what can they do?
Ugh.
So this is Pixar. This is Disney. So then so here's your current moment. Elio, worst ever, and once again in a week and a half, dinosaurs.
It's over.
Oh, the movie we're not talking about that should be like the biggest movie of the summer by the amount of budget it had. F1 comes out this week.
Yeah, $400 million, right?
You got to be
something
joking.
like that.
Yeah, massive budget on that thing.
You got to be huffing paint.
And they're like, Brad
$40
Pitt's the only one in it. So it's a reported at least initially it was 300 before reshoots.
Oh my god!
I mean, listen, I've notched a few L's from my beginning of the year predictions on some of these movies, and I accept that. I got a few wrong, but I'm on a streak at the moment. We give me an asterisk on How to Train Your Dragon. I get an asterisk on that one because the reporting changed. But let's see. Lilo and Stitch, I said it was going to do banger. It did. Boom. Made the money. Elio, I said Elio was going to bomb. Bombed. I kind of said that 20 years later would do well if it pleased its audience, I believe. And if it's not pleasing the audience, it's not going to do well. But it was niche, so I kind of put that to the side. And I said that F1, nobody was going to care about this movie. That's before we knew what the budget was.
Well,
that is before we knew what the budget was.
There's other stuff going on with it as well. I don't know if you guys are aware of this. So I think it's going to be put up as an argument for why the audience has been so wrong about CGI, because they're blaming their bloated budget on the fact that they use practical effects instead of CGI. That's what they're blaming it on. And so I feel like they might weaponize this against audiences in the future to say, hey, you don't like us using CGI, but when we don't use CGI, it balloons budgets to make failures like F1. I can see them trying to weaponize it against people in future and an argument being made around that. But the real yes, bro, production costs still, it takes effort and money to do stuff practically, but they're using real F1 cars, which means they have to rent these real cars.
Those are expensive vehicles, man.
Yeah,
so it's more complicated than just practical effects versus CGI
on the planet
and race them across the country.
Yeah, they have to pay real drivers. They got a bunch of real F1 drivers involved, and they're not coming out for less than millions.
Even Tom Cruise wouldn't get in the seat of one of those things. Because that's high fucking speed. All right. So F1 was always going to be disaster. All that aside, who cares about
in the States, especially? F1 is niche in the States. Overseas, it is fucking massive. Like in Europe, it's going to do well in the European markets, I think. But
I agree with that.
In the States, I only know one person in my life who unironically follows F1. I just don't see it as being very relevant in States.
I mean,
domestically.
There was a Sylvester Stallone movie about 20 years ago about F1 racing, and he was in it. And it's not a bad movie, but it's not particularly an interesting movie. It's just another racing movie. And in that movie, like Jed said, the movie takes place in Europe because that's where the courses are. This is not an American sports obsession. Nobody cares about this. So it may do well internationally, but there's going to be F1's not going to get it's going to get a drip domestic box office, and it's going to lose money. I'll be surprised if it makes 300 to 400 million. I'll be surprised, and it'll be all international. But it doesn't matter. F1 comes out next week?
This week, yeah. Right
before
Dinosaurs.
No, wait, back. Formula 1 comes out when Jurassic Park comes out?
A week before. So Formula 1 is June 27th and Dinosaurs is July 2nd.
Let me bring up the graphic. that I keep on my
Oh,
desktop
okay.
for this discussion.
Oh man, these days are all. It's today's the 22nd. These days have been running all together for me. Holy crap!
It's,
All right, so
It's understandable.
well,
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm wondering, are you gonna rush out of the delivery room to watch Formula One? I feel like
Actually,
that might be a
yeah.
big priority for you.
Oh yeah, that's
5 days.
first order of business.
F1's in 5 days.
Mm-hmm.
F1's in 5 days, and then literally 5 days later, dinosaurs.
So what you're saying, Adam, is that F1 has 5 days to make about $900 million to
To justify its existence.
justify its existence. $900
much, yeah.
million.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if you guys have seen any marketing in the wild for it. F1,
No,
I've seen
haven't.
one thing. I've seen a
pictures.
commercial for a Heineken zero alcoholic beer. That's the only thing where there's this Heineken F1 crossover commercial, and it's like, yeah, non-alcoholic beer with Brad Pitt. That's the only thing I've seen in the
Heineken already tastes like shit. I don't want to.
And now I have to drink it and not get drunk. What are we doing with ourselves?
So
Lord.
here is the breakdown. Already now, Lilo and Stitch has made its money. But that's been wiped out by Elio. How to Train Your Dragon has had a chance to make its money, but it's plateaued because it's the same movie and no repeat viewing. So it's going to run into the wall that is Jurassic World Rebirth.
Yep.
I got to wonder, when you're seeing maybe these studios think more highly of themselves than they really are. They get to looking at these release schedules, and yes, sometimes you think, I don't want to compete against this or compete against that. Why do you think, look at right here, why do you think nothing else is coming out around the 19th, the end of the year? Avatar.
Because everybody knows the reality is that this junk's going to make gajillions of dollars for reasons beyond our understanding.
Yeah. I mean, so you would see this and realize, let's pretend that Superman was a threat. Let's pretend Baby Steps was a threat. Jurassic World is clearly a threat to your profits. If you're any of these movies, why would you drop anything remotely near it? Just wave the white flag and say, you know what? We'll come back in 2 months. Let us, when we look at this, let's understand dinosaurs.
It's over.
But you know what it is? It's because F1, that's a vanity project.
Yeah, but that vanity project cost more than, I don't know, a small country. So
that's why it's vanity. They don't realize that they shouldn't be doing it like this. And it's, I mean, we're not talking about Mega 2.0. Nobody cares about that slop.
Yeah, I don't care about that.
That slop don't count. But all these things here, at least Disney was smart enough to put Lilo and Stitch out a month ahead of this. But
yeah, I mean, because they wanted money. So
and they wanted to separate it from Fantastic Four as well, separate their own releases. But I don't care who wins next month. I just want the Smurfs to lose. That's the one I want to lose the most. Out of all of these, that looks like an abomination of untold proportions. I want Rihanna to never work again in her life after what she did to desecrate the Smurfs. I love the Smurfs cartoon as a kid. It should not be ass-reamed like they're doing in this movie.
Oh my god!
It's not. That's gonna be terrible.
A nerve have we?
It's like something like hurt Jed with that. That's what happened there.
Rihanna hurt me. She should be homeless.
What did she do to you?
Have you seen the trailer for the Smurfs?
No, I have not.
Oh, it's terrible.
Yeah, you would want her to be homeless too if you were a fan of Smurfs and you watched that trailer.
You know, if the chat wanted to, they could make us watch it, but I'm not going to make us watch it. The chat could make us watch it though with a super chat. They could do that, but I'm not going to make us watch it. It's horrible. But here we go. So dinosaurs comes in, wipes out everything, and then let's talk about it. We're there. We're on the doorstep. The three-way dance begins. The three-way dance begins. Jurassic World versus Superman. James Gunn's Superman.
Yeah, James Gunn is probably going to be bigger on the poster than the word Superman.
I know. And then Fantastic Four. Now for once, we're not going to talk James Gunn Superman because there's no new news really to talk about with that. There isn't. We know it's coming out. We are basically at the point where we just need it to come out so we can see how bad I think it's going to be. But let's be honest, there's no Jurassic World news. There isn't.
Yeah, they've been very tight-lipped about it because they don't need to say anything.
Perfect. They don't need to.
They showed you dinosaurs. They showed you a hot woman, even if she's being a girl boss, which bothers some people. Yeah, so someone told. I saw someone arguing that Jurassic Park would fail because Ballerina failed. Girl boss apparently overrides dinosaurs, and I don't believe that.
Not true. It's just not true.
ScarJo still has a good enough reputation that she's not going to sing the movie. Like if it were Brie Larson instead of ScarJo,
you'd be worried.
Yeah, or Rachel Zegler, you'd be worried. But yeah, Dinosaurs is going to take the cake, especially with one of the original writers coming back, the way that he's addressing it. I like a lot of his comments, honestly, about some of the stuff he's been saying. But I hope it's better than Dominion. That's my bar. Better than Dominion, because Dominion was awful. And so was Fallen Kingdom. They were both pretty bad.
So our next topic is essentially, though, since we're not going to talk about Superman, we're going to talk about Baby Steps, because Baby Steps has begun their marketing push. They've begun their marketing push. Let me just get one more image up here. Hold on. To try and convince everybody that they're relevant. That they're relevant. And
I have everything pulled up for you.
I've got it all. I've got it all right here. I've got it all.
You've got an article in the other the variations. Okay, good.
Oh, not the variations. You get the variations. I have the one you showed me, and you have the variations. So, but they've started a marketing push to try and get you excited for Fantastic Four Baby Steps.
And this is a marketing ploy not aimed at Adam and I. It's actually aimed at Dre. So let's see if this affects you, Dre.
No, that's the first one.
No.
Okay, so we'll go with that one first. So first is this. Dre, what's your Kicks collection look like?
Wait, what?
Dre, are you a sneaker guy, Dre?
Not really.
You're black. You're black. Don't disappoint me.
I mean, Nikes, I guess. Converse. Ooh.
React Juice. Converse. Every time I hear that, my memory goes back to React Juice. React Juice. See, Dre knows it. Dre knows exactly what I'm talking about.
Okay. This I will say, like I grew up poor, so I couldn't afford Nikes. I couldn't really afford Reebok. But we had Shaqs, of course, obviously, because that was the poor man's shoe. And FUBU, for those who remember FUBU, which was LL Cool J shoe. For those who remember those, yes. But Converse, Chuck Taylors, those were my joints. No ankle support to speak of. Zero.
no, man. You're gonna twist that ankle. You're down.
Oh, you're done.
Mama, help me.
Mama, help.
My ankle. Mama, help.
Why do we wear those?
You know he ain't calling for his daddy.
Oh, yeah, sure ain't. That ain't happening.
Boy.
Exactly.
Walk it off.
What are you doing wearing Chuck Taylors in grass? What are you, stupid?
So Dre, if you saw that there are Fantastic Four sneakers, are you gonna get excited? Especially if you're gonna wear the Invisible Woman see-throughs.
Why is that?
This is real. I verified this is real.
Okay, I got to tell you how everything about this is offensive. Okay,
I don't want to see your snaky feet.
Okay, that's first and foremost. The Nike Air Forces are classic shoes that only the biggest of hustlers walk in. All white Nike Air Forces. Folks should be getting robbed on the street for them joints. Okay,
you ain't wearing that stuff to play.
In the
you
world,
ain't wearing those to game.
Why in the world is there some gay white man wearing these see-through shoes, and they have the audacity to call them Air Force?
That's a dude wearing Invisible Woman sneakers, man.
That's insane.
That's a dude.
Why is that being designed? What poor Chinese child had to stitch this together? Good Lord. God in heaven. What is this? Why are they marketing an Invisible Woman shoe?
Oh, it gets better. Jed, show the rest of the lineup.
So there's a full lineup, and a lot of the other ones are obvious. Like, I think if I was tasked with making a Fantastic shoe collection, I would immediately start with the Human Torch. Just throw some flames on it. That's going to be super fucking easy.
Flames make it go faster.
That's what I'm saying.
Even the thing, add a little texture to it. It'll look good. I don't know how you do Mr. Fantastic unless you just go with the color design of, the blue and the white and whatnot.
Yeah, blue and white or something,
Yeah. So this is the rest of the lineup for the movie. And just Invisible Woman sneakers is just ridiculous. So I don't know how you care about any of these. I didn't know what an Air Force was. I'm not a Nike fan. I have Nike shoes, but they're basketball shoes.
Okay,
and
the
whatnot.
Dr. Dooms, I would probably get a pair of the Dooms. Those ones look pretty cool.
They're the Air Foam.
Yeah, Air Foam, and actually those shoes are very surprisingly comfortable. So yes, so like the Dr. Doom Nikes, I would rock those. The Mr. Fantastic look like Skechers, so absolutely not. I would not be buying those and walk around on those.
Yeah, target that for kids. Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly. That should be a child show. Shoe.
We've got a sports shoe, a child shoe, a women's shoe,
a woman's shoe.
That's a gay man
like
shoe
the
right
Human
there.
Torch.
That's a gay man shoe.
I don't know. Okay, this is what I'll say. Mr. Fantastic and the Human Torch. I would target those for like kids. Kids like colorful shoes, stuff like that. Orange, red, yellow. Those shoes pop for like a kid. The thing, the brown and orange high tops. Okay, those ain't bad. Those ain't bad. Like you can still like pair that joint with a nice pair of jeans or something. Like those can rock. But the Invisible Woman shoe is an abomination, and the good Lord Christ should come down and smite the individuals that force those Chinese children to make that.
I can't believe someone suggested this and I thought this was a good idea. Like a shoe collab just in general, even with these other shoes that aren't terrible. Like why is shoe collab being front and center? I get it with like merch and t-shirts and whatnot, just burying it amongst every other little thing of merch, but putting it this far forward, having a marketing campaign for it and acting like, hey, we've got this big crossover, like the Little Caesars one. They're doing big crossovers for this. That is just wild.
Yeah, that's very bizarre. When I think of Fantastic Four, I don't think shoes. I wouldn't ever think shoe collab. Like if you're gonna, like usually you have something that would go into some type of gimmick that deals with shoes. Like I don't know if you remember back in the day when Sonic Adventure 2 came out, the game.
That makes sense.
Sonic Adventure 2 came out. There was a whole line of red and white shoes, even one with the little grind circle in the middle, because in the game you would grind down rails. There was a gimmick around the shoes, and those shoes apparently sold pretty well because he runs. So but
and it's his iconic look. The shoes are a big part of that. So that makes sense.
Huge deal. A huge deal. So I wouldn't be like, yo, let me get them Dr. Dooms. Like that wouldn't be a conversation I have at Foot Locker. Like that's not it. It's very bizarre. And the designs on 3 of them are not very good. So I would assume that if anybody in marketing would target like kids for a few of those, but the Invisible Woman joint is an absolute abomination. And that shouldn't be seen by any human being.
So we're agreed. This is a pathetic merch launch.
It's not good.
It's not good.
Yeah, it's not good.
And
it only gets worse.
Pathetic. Jed mentioned it. The Little Caesars Pizza campaign.
Why?
It's big. They put some money on that commercial.
They're doing it because Dre, have you seen what they're doing with that commercial? We're not
Little Caesars of all pizza joints.
But it's not just that. They put out a commercial. Now, when it first came out, we thought it was footage from the movie, and we all made fun of it. But it's still not a good look, and they think they're clever by calling back to the first ever cover of Fantastic Four, having them fight this slop thing. This dude that was on the cover.
Yeah, on Fantastic Four #1.
This is the commercial. This is from the commercial they made for the pizza. Where they pull up in the car and they get out and they're going to fight. And look, the man's holding the pizza right there. And I wouldn't be surprised if this isn't in the movie. I wouldn't be surprised.
Well, it could just be a product placement.
So some dude is delivering pizzas. Little Caesars, who doesn't deliver, by the way.
Yeah. You roll up for that $5 slop and you eat it. You love it. You feel bad later.
All right. I have controversial opinions on this. I think Little Caesars is the best fast food pizza chain. Like
I agree with
Pizza
you.
Hut, Domino's, all those stuff. Like a real pizza joint's still going to be better than all of it.
Yeah.
A real pizzeria is still going to win. But when it comes to a fast food pizza type place, Little Caesars is the king. But their reputation is shit. You don't need this to ruin their already tainted reputation. They deserve a good reputation.
Jed isn't wrong. When I came to Florida, I hadn't eaten in like a while. He orders a pizza. I devoured an entire one by myself.
That stuff tastes like cornbread and hot sweat. I don't want nothing to do with no Little Caesars pizza.
It's great.
It's
That
the
crust is
perfect
fantastic.
cheap ass pizza. $5 and you're good
Like
to go.
one of my homies back in the day, he's like, "Hey, yo, I'm about to go to Little Caesars." I'm like, "Bruv, you about to go there by yourself.
Dude,
I ain't about to sit there and roll with you no Little Caesars."
I didn't even go to Caesars. It was in a Kmart. That's where I got mine when Kmart still existed.
Adam.
I would go to the Kmart and I get it. But I get it fresh. They would make it fresh and I get it
Fresh
hot.
is a strong term, but I'll let you have
It
it.
came out of the oven and they put it in the box and I'd go in the car and I'd eat it.
That's a desperate man at the end of
And
his
their
pitiful
crazy
rope.
bread is bomb. I love their crazy bread.
Jed, I think you're just a fan of Little Caesars pizza.
I am a fan of Little
Yeah.
Caesars pizza, in fact.
You
Oh, their
just
sticks
are.
and slices.
All right,
It's
but
half cheesy bread, half pepperoni pizza. It's a great little $6 thing
Bottom
for
line.
one person.
bottom line, this is not a good look
No,
for your marketing.
No, it's terrible.
not.
And we've already seen the Galactus popcorn bucket. All
Yeah.
Have you guys seen how big that is?
$80. Ugh, it's bigger than my head.
Whoa, I didn't know the price. It was 80 bucks.
You didn't know it was
It's
$80?
$80. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, it's also
$80.
like 2 feet tall. Like little women are not going to be able to hold it. If you saw Krista carrying that around, she would disappear. It would
Okay,
be
to be
Galactus on
fair.
legs.
To be fair, Jed, if I am gonna pull a gimmick on a character that's larger than life and try to sell something novelty, I would do that.
But,
Yeah.
but all right.
I
It
would-
still only has enough popcorn space for one large popcorn, though.
No, okay, now
Personally, I don't understand the popcorn bucket thing. I don't get this. I don't get it. But it didn't stop there. Have you seen the second popcorn bucket that they're releasing?
there's another one.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
That looks like his dick.
Oh
Yes.
God, what are we doing? That's the last thing I need is a Pedro Pascal sitting on my shelf. Oh,
And look at that face modeling. It
That's what I'm
doesn't even
saying.
look like him.
This marketing campaign is a joke. And
how
this
much
is
money is this costing?
they spent money on this. They spent money on this.
I like the idea of the one on the right. The execution's really bad, but just a nice simple one with a little stacked of their, different
Yeah.
art styles. I think that could work, but yeah, the execution
Yeah.
looks
The-
like dog shit.
The,
And-
the,
and
Pa-
look,
the
okay.
Pedro penis. The Pedro penis.
Oh yeah, the Pedro penis
Pedro-
is awful.
But I reject the second one because you got the invisible part at the
Mhm.
top. You got, I guess that's supposed to be magma in the center, and then the thing, and then Mr. Fantastic. Okay, that's a popcorn bucket that makes sense to me.
Mhm.
And this is my thing.
It's nice and simple.
It's nice and simple, and I think this will be a nice novelty item to go along with the film. I think that makes sense. I think anything that deals with inside of concession stand that has a gimmick, I think that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Tennis shoes, what are we doing with ourselves? Pizza, 4 different types of pizza at Little Caesars. Like what? Come on. What am I looking at? I want
People are
cheese,
buying this, though, dude.
pepperoni,
This
jalapenos.
people are buying this though. It is working. They are buying it. I mean, the idea of promoting the food is not a bad idea. My problem is this. This is my problem. This commercial is stupid.
Well-
It's a cheap trick to convince everybody, look, we're respecting original cover artwork, guys. Look what we're doing here.
What's everyone's bet on that being the closest to respecting the original source material that we get
Oh,
is a fucking Little Caesars
completely.
commercial.
Oh yeah, I'm not willing to lose my money on that.
Yeah.
I'm guarantee that is the closest thing you're getting to honoring of the source material. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure of it.
So this is why I'm calling it pathetic. Most of this, while not stupid to push food, sneakers are dumb.
That's a disaster. That's wrong.
Thi-
That's wrong morally.
This one is dumb.
That one's really
And-
bad.
This commercial, in the end, it's basically fake fan behavior. We're try-harding to convince you that we give a
Well,
shit.
yeah, they just Googled the first issue and looked at the cover art, and it's like, oh yeah, that's something people would recognize. That's a Wikipedia
Well,
fan.
only the hardest core recognizes this. I don't know what the fuck this was. I had to look it up to make sure it was real. At first, I thought, "What is this?" Oh, it's the monster on the first cover ever.
Yeah.
But that's for like the hardest of hardcore comic nerds. I mean, Dre,
Yep.
did you recognize this?
Yeah, I would recognize it
Because
because
you're hardcore.
I'm hardcore, and I'm like, okay, that's supposed to be the monster from the first book. Fine, but the normie isn't gonna know or care. but maybe that's the point. I don't know. Maybe that's the point. Maybe it's like, hey, look, they're fighting a bad guy, and look, Little Caesars Pizza's here. Go get pizza. I don't know how the subconscious mind works when it comes to that aspect of advertising, but I wouldn't have done this. I would do what McDonald's and Burger King have been doing for decades. Just make a commercial with what, like how You Train Your Dragon is doing one with Burger King, I think, and it's just like Toothless is like watching his burgers being made. That's more than enough.
How much money did this commercial cost to make?
Oh, that's got to be up there. This commercial probably what? 20, $30 million.
Yeah.
It's got to be up there because first of all, the CGI artists had to work for it. This ain't somebody had to make that joint.
And you had to get the stars to come in because they showed them beginning the commercial getting out of the car.
Exactly. And you got to pay Pedro Pascal and the rest of them jokers to show up. So they didn't come here for free. So this joint cost some serious money. So I mean, look, this is what I'll say. You know what? Good for Little Caesars. Hustle these bastards.
Oh, no, I ain't dumping on Little Caesars. I'm dumping on Disney and their marketing.
If Disney's about to give me money for no reason, I'll take their money.
We still don't know the budget for this movie?
Oh no, it's gotta be. I'm lowballing here. Minimum $400 million.
I think 400 is more realistic.
Well, they have spent over $100 million on marketing.
100%. I don't think that's debatable.
So this movie is not going to sniff at break even.
Oh God,
it's gonna need like 900 million for break even, and I've only said it's gonna make about 550, 600. That's where it taps out.
When was the last time we saw a Marvel marketing budget as large as this one? Not Sony, not counting the Spider-Man movies.
Oh well, you say Spider-Man. We'll get that in a second. I don't know. Was it
Endgame? Like this is huge. What they're trying so hard with Fantastic Four.
I mean, probably. I'm really trying to think about the marketing campaign for Endgame. I'm trying to really think about it.
Well, I mean, we're talking about merch, this and that. They haven't gone to the lengths of this, putting out merch for anything for a long time. That I can think.
This feels desperate.
I wouldn't dare put out merch for this. I mean,
but they have. No. We just looked at it.
No. I mean, I'm sorry. Toy line. I'm sorry. Toy line.
They did. There's toy line. There's Lego. There's Funko Pops. There are toy lines up there. They're already spoiled with Baby Franklin in the thing. So I mean, they have gone hard in for this movie because they know that dinosaurs and Superman are going to eat their lunch.
Yeah.
Which we're not seeing another Marvel movie in theaters for a long time. What is it? A year? Year and a half now?
December. Not till next December. And that's
why not delay Fantastic Four until the fall season? You don't want to push it up too close to Avatar, but get it close to that family-friendly season so it's not competing with this. At least end of August. I think they have a good chance.
Baby Steps had no business in this three-way dance.
No
business.
It should be here.
Dinosaurs, easy win. Superman, with everything going on, there's always the possibility that the marketing and the trailers are just shit and there's actually a movie in there, which I highly doubt at this point. But there's always the chance. And also the desire for Superman. Here's the thing. People may not be enthused for the Superman movie, but there's always that desire for it to be good. Nobody's enthused for a Fantastic Four movie, and no one desires a Fantastic Four movie. Brutally honest. So this had no business coming into this three-way dance, let alone thinking they're going to come in that they have the balls to think coming in third that they're going to come in and say, oh, look, now we're here. Are you guys ready for us? No, everybody's going to be exhausted by the end of July.
Yeah.
It's going to be hot. They're going to have spent their money already because these tickets ain't cheap.
Sure ain't.
So this is why I call this pathetic on this end for Fantastic Four. We got something else. We got a little bit of a news drop just the other day concerning Spider-Man Brand New Day. And I want your takes, especially Dre, because you're the one who just suffered Daredevil aborted.
Oh.
It is now official. John Bernthal's MCU Punisher is going to be in Brand New Day. We've already got Ruffalo Hulk. We've got Bernthal, and it was confirmed earlier, but Jerry, I want you to double confirm on it. They are including 2 villains in here that aren't even a part of Spider-Man's Rogues Gallery. One of them being Silver Samurai.
Come on.
What are we doing here? What are we doing here? Why I ask this, and then I'm going to turn it over to Dre. Why can't Spider-Man be in his own movie and have his own villains? Why must he constantly have other people coming in to save him? Iron Man, Nick Fury, other Spider-Men, and other Spider-Man villains from other Spider-Man movies. MCU Spider-Man is not allowed to be Spider-Man. At the end of No Way Home, we were promised it's Peter Parker as you know him. He's on his own. He's got no backup. He's your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, living out of the apartment, trying to make ends meet. We've finally jettisoned fake Mary Jane. We've jettisoned Korean Nick dude, whatever the hell that guy was. He's gone. Ned, Nick, whatever. We've jettisoned him. And no, apparently not, because here comes the Punisher to hold it up. People are saying Daredevil might show up now. We've got Ruffalo's Hulk. Zendaya's still in the fucking movie. She's on the cast. She's going to be there.
This was such an easy layup. Go simple, simple, simple. I don't want a recurring character in this movie at all. Just Tom Holland Spider-Man. We just all new characters. Introduce Gwen Stacy or something like that, and do a Spider-Man villain we haven't really seen a good on-screen performance of, like Scorpion, and even the Rhino.
Hobgoblin.
The Rhino, we saw a little bit in Amazing Spider-Man 2, but I think there's some interesting story with the Rhino there, or even Kraven the Hunter. I love the idea of the real Kraven the Hunter, not the Abomination movie that came out, but just the idea of this guy who's like, yeah, I'm the best hunter in the world, and, you know, hunting Spider-Man might be fun because he'll be a great challenge. That sounds interesting.
Silver Sable. There's so I mean, Dre.
Black Cat. We need a Black Cat movie would be great.
We want Sydney Sweeney Black Cat. We need Sydney Sweeney as Black Cat, honey.
It was so simple.
Yes. Now, Dre, I have said this in the past, and it's a controversial statement, but we put in the phrasing that Spider-Man is my favorite superhero. So of course I'm going to say we will easily say he has a rogues gallery that is only rivaled by Batman's.
That's correct. Yes.
And to me, I like his rogues gallery better, but that's because I'm a Spider-Man guy, not really a Batman guy.
Sure.
But Spider-Man has one of the greatest rogues galleries in comic book history, and you're bringing in a chick who I think they called her not Venom, but something else, and of course not Venom, but some chick, and Silver Samurai, a Wolverine villain.
Yes, 100% Wolverine villain.
Dre, what's happening here?
Diarrhea of the brain is happening here. There seems to be some type of misconception on Spider-Man. I don't know who the director or the runner of this one is, but they've definitely lost the message. Spider-Man is a character that's big enough to stand on his own without anybody else's help. We saw this with No Way Home. We already saw this already. We saw Spider-Man. Yes, was there a nostalgia trip in there involved? Yes, absolutely, 110%. But the box office speaks for itself. Now, here's the kicker. I believe that the studio believes that Tom Holland can't hold it up on his own. That's what I believe.
Fair point.
That's what I believe, because I think this has got nothing to do with Spider-Man, the character itself. I believe they think Tom Holland is not interesting, which I've been on record several times. I hate Tom Holland Spider-Man. I think he's a joke. I think he's trash, and I hope he goes away. Ain't no beef with Tom Holland. He just sucks at this. And that's it.
It started off.
He has no range. Like, I hate that he's in the Odyssey.
None. He's not Spider-Man. He's not Peter Parker. I've never liked him. And look, Civil War is one of my favorite MCU movies of all time. And guess what scene I hate the most? When daggone Tony Stark goes to get this kid. It was a waste of my time because he's a terrible Spider-Man. He always has been, always will be. In all of his films, he's never the best character in it. Never. Not once. In Homecoming. It was the Vulture was a way better and more interesting character than him. It wasn't even close.
The problem is in No Way Home, and I own No Way Home. I'm not sorry, Homecoming. I own Homecoming. I
Mhm.
bought and I don't hate it as much as you do, but I am disappointed because they put him in a world where he wasn't allowed to be Spider-Man. That's the biggest problem. Tom Holland's Spider-Man was never allowed to be Spider-Man. He had constantly being held up, propped up by everything else around there, whether it's Tony Stark or in Homecoming, he's never given a chance to actually be Peter Parker Spider-Man.
That's also true. That's also true.
That's the biggest problem. And it starts with the fact that, do we need the origin story? No. But when you eliminate, with great power comes great responsibility. When you eliminate that, you are starting off on the wrong foot. When you're having it, Mr. Stark, Mr. Stark, Mr. Stark, you're creating a relationship that we didn't need. Because as I said, and Dre, you can back me up on this, 95% of the time, Spider-Man is a solo act.
100. Yeah, I agree.
He does team ups. He does it. He appears there. But the thing about Spider-Man is that he's taking on this insane rogues gallery by himself. And he's always holding back.
Yes.
It's kind of a Superman thing. He's always holding back because he's afraid that he doesn't want to hurt somebody, want to go too far. And because that's why, if you earn it and build it, the idea of Spider-Man versus the Sinister Six is so freaking huge because it's one man against 6 crazy-ass superpowered villains, which are not always the same. You can slot sometimes Doc Ock is there. Sometimes when you have Doc Ock as a member of the Sinister Six, that takes up another level because Peter has a hard time fighting Octavius all by himself. And suddenly you have to deal with Lizard, Vulture, Shocker, or Electro, whatever you want to throw in there. Come on, those things. It's a problem.
Yep, I agree. And that's what makes Spider-Man an interesting character. But I believe that it's the studio that doesn't believe that Tom Holland's good enough to hold it.
I agree with that's a very good assessment, and I like it. I like that assessment.
That's why we should have gotten Amazing Spider-Man 3, a dark, amazing Spider-Man with the events we knew in No Way Home. And Sydney Sweeney's Black Cat. Like you have a well-received movie there, just with those things.
Garfield gets more hate. I liked the first TASM.
Yeah, the scripts aren't good. He's really good in the role. I like him in the role.
And Jed, you hit the nail on the head. Andrew Garfield is great. That's the kicker. He's great. The scripts he's been given is definitely just cocaine-filled, angel dust snorting people that threw stuff at the wall. And everybody knows that and understood that, and that's why he's still a beloved Spider-Man, despite the fact that his films aren't that good.
TASM 2 is terrible. TASM 2 is terrible.
He's the Peter Capaldi.
That movie is horrible. I actually like the first Amazing Spider-Man.
I like the first one. I
like the first one.
It's got charm.
I like the first one. It's got. I love the action sequences when he's fighting the lizard. I love that whole back and forth. I don't
like Emma Stone though.
Well, Emma Stone.
Whoa, Jen, leave my white girl out of this, sir.
As Gwen Stacy, I like her in other stuff like Zombieland. She's great.
Oh, she's great. She's great.
No, but my point is, I like TASM overall. I owned it. And eventually I got rid of it because I was like, oh, he's not going to be the MCU Spider-Man. That was me living in my early days being what I am now. When I was completely caught up in the hype back in the early last decade. Like, oh, he's not the MCU Spider-Man. I don't need to watch it anymore. And I got rid of my Blu-ray. I'm bad move. I know, bad move. But Garfield had a good chance. And Jed was right. Sony should have scrapped every other movie they had as soon as No Way Home made its money and said, let's do TASM 3.
Yes, I agree. 100%.
Well, Andrew Garfield's the best actor, I think. Tobey Maguire, I absolutely love, but Andrew's shown so much range in his other products that he's a legitimate actor with legitimate range and legitimate talent, so that we can see a lot of different aspects of Peter's character through him that we wouldn't ever see through anybody else. Like, I don't want to see a slightly darker version of Tom Holland Spider-Man. That would be awful. And we kind of got that a little bit with Tobey Maguire in Spider-Man 3, and it wasn't good. But Andrew could pull off something like that. Like the symbiote arc, I don't think either of the other actors could really pull that off in the way that Andrew could.
Toby didn't. Toby didn't. Spider-Man 3 is an abomination on hot fire wheels. I despise that movie. with all 1,000 passion of suns.
That movie is
I
terrible.
like some of Sandman. Sandman, I think, has the only almost legitimate story in that movie.
See,
But
Jed,
besides
that's
that,
and that's why I have my problem, because Sandman is a criminal. Like, he's not all this heartfelt for his daughter and I did all that. No. This dude likes to rob and murder. This is what he likes to do. Him and Rhino love committing grisly murder. That's their whole bit. And then he's like, I only committed these heinous crimes because
I don't know his origin, so that would be legitimate. Yeah.
So for me, I didn't like it. Now, granted, I understand where you're coming from. From a film perspective, he's the only character that actually has substance. So absolutely. So I agree on that aspect 110%. But as far as a character is concerned, it's an abomination. Just like all the abominations. The Venom origin made me want to do horrible things to my neck with a ceiling fan.
Sam Raimi hates Venom, and Avi Arad forced him to do Venom in that movie, which means that there was all kinds of. That's why that movie was a problem. That entire movie, Avi Arad forced Sam Raimi to change the movie from what he wanted to do. And and when I first heard they were going to do Venom, I was so excited, but I didn't know that Sam Raimi hated Venom. And
Topher Grace should have stayed on that 70s show. That's one of the biggest mistakes of his career, is choosing Spider-Man 3 over that 70s show.
Yeah. And they didn't, and all of it was because, and they shoved him for the last 20 minutes, and then you had Harry, not Green Goblin,
talk about
Goblin, what the hell? And the only fight scene you get, Peter's not even in his suit. He's in his
He's wearing t-shirts and jeans.
Yeah.
I'm like okay.
All right, you know what the most famous thing from the movie is? Bully freaking Maguire. That's the most famous thing that's lasted in pop culture.
And it's just a meme. That's it's like the prequel trilogy thing. People see the memes in the prequels and they have this nostalgia for it, but when they watch the prequels, they're like, "Wow, Attack of the Clones is awful."
Oh yeah, that movie's not good.
But as someone who, as is very clear, I'm not as big into the comics as you guys at all. How is the portrayal of Tom Hardy's Venom compared to Topher Grace from a comic perspective, like an accuracy standpoint, not a quality film? It's still pretty bad.
They can't get it right to save their lives.
A different type of bad.
They cannot get Eddie Brock right to save their lives.
Now, is that better than Harry Venom that you see in Spider-Man 2, the game?
Oh boy,
that's not Venom.
That's not real.
All right, here, look at this. Let me say this. When Tony Todd is being Venom in the game, that's good, because that was Tony Todd, one of the last things he did.
Sure.
And he did a fantastic job, and you felt that was Venom, but it just sounded like Venom. The whole personality of Harry Venom in Spider-Man 2, that's not a Venom motivation. Venom doesn't want to take over the world. Venom is out for vengeance, and when he realizes that maybe he shouldn't be doing it, then he goes overboard as lethal protector.
Yep.
That's Venom.
That's it.
Venom is
they,
not.
They can't get that right ever.
It's not complicated.
Yeah.
But when you make a mini null and try to make him mini, that's what he did in Spider-Man 2.
Yeah,
they made a mini null.
Yeah, that's what they did. You're right. You're right.
They made a mini null.
But back to this, whatever they're doing, I think this is just a studio that has no faith in Tom Holland, and so now and John Bernthal is hot right now. He just did The Accountant 2, and
him and Tom Holland are coming out at the same time as this movie, The Odyssey. Jed, we're gonna get a trailer for that soon, apparently.
Oh no!
Oh boy, that's gonna hurt you.
And
my soul cannot.
I will save it for this show. I will save that reaction, unless they pay me to do it on Daily Dive.
I actually want to, and that's once again, I want to see that movie. I'm really looking forward.
I want it to be so good because I'm a big Nolan fan. I defend Nolan. I go a little overboard with my Nolan love. This, it's killing my soul seeing Nolan butcher the Odyssey like this. My favorite book of my favorite director having a demon baby.
I want to be all in Florida so that Jed and I can go and we can both share the pain. Because we will walk out and we will do a hot take drive-in review out of the theater. We will do that if I'm there. We will do it. Say, hey guys, good or bad, we'll tell you right now, because that thing is it's either going to be brilliant or it's going to be utter shit.
Yeah, it's got no in between. Either like the greatest movie of all time or hot steamy garbage.
Yep, I'm inclined to agree with you.
I want it to be the greatest thing ever, though. Like, and when it was first announced, I got so wet. Like, porn stars are jealous. Bonnie Blue was jealous of me in that moment.
Then I saw the cast. Then I saw the cast, and I thought, "Oh, we're drying up fast."
It just got drier and drier and drier, and now we're the Sahara 200 years ago when it was in the transition phase.
So back to where we started with this. This movie, I'm predicting disaster. Because they can't let Spider-Man have his own movie. They just can't. And maybe more the way Dre put it, they can't let Tom Holland have his own movie as Spider-Man.
No, they can't, because they think that boy can't hold it. And I'm inclined to agree. I haven't liked any of his Spider-Man roles, so I believe it's the studio pulling this. Now, once again, I think this is ugly, disgusting, and want nothing to do with it. This reeks of. And God help me when I see this day one, freaking James Gunn Superman. This is what it reeks of. It reeks of, I don't believe that Superman can hold a film. So I've got a hodgepodge, a bunch of nonsense, a bunch of different characters, a bunch of different heroes. And so therefore, so to keep people's attention, to get butts in seats. And it's offensive. It's offensive. But this is where we are, and I think Disney, the studio heads, I believe they're in full-fledged desperation mode. They know that boy ain't no star, and it's fine if you're not a star. Just stop being Spider-Man.
Yeah, he had a good run. He had 3 Spider-Man movies, more than he's been Spider-Man more than anybody else.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, and appeared in 3 other movies.
Yeah,
3 other MC movies.
He's had his run. Sony's cutting ties with Disney anyway, it seems like. So just start over.
Yep,
it's okay.
And we said it a few minutes ago. The simplest solution: just go back to the Tasm universe. Go back to Garfield. People are ready to give him another chance right now.
Absolutely, there's money to be made, and the fact that all these morons didn't strike while that iron was piping hot is insane to me. Freaking No Way Home.
That's Hollywood. That's Hollywood.
No Way Home was the biggest film over the last since Endgame in theaters outside of Way of Water. Outside of Way of Water, that movie has made all the freaking money. Amy and tell me,
and it created goodwill.
Goodwill. Amy and tell me, as an exec, I'm not going to be like, hey, let me rub my penis all over this. Under what circumstance would I not do that? It's wild. It's wild. And now here we go. Now we fast forward because that was 2021. Was that
22? It was right at the end. It was middle of COVID.
It was 21 and 22.
Whatever. It had to be 21 because I was still sitting over there. My desk was still over there.
It was November, December 21.
21. Perfect. So it's been almost 4 years now. And you now are trying to make one off of Tom Holland, the lowest rated Spider-Man of all time, because no one gives a crap. And now we're going to shoehorn all these other characters because you know he's not interesting enough to hold water? You're a fool. And this is on Sony too. Screw him. Screw Sony too.
Well, remember,
their Spider-Verse crap is awful. So yeah, they don't deserve any credit.
They kept on shadoodling garbage films after No Way Home. After the success of No Way Home, I would have been worshiping at the altar of Amazing Spider-Man 3. Period. Yeah. That's my first announcement. It's like, we're going back to Amazing Spider-Man. We're building a universe out of it.
You know what this means. I can tell you what all this means. Get ready for Miles Morales.
Oh, God.
That's definitely coming down the line.
But
you don't need that.
Miles Morales.
Dre, are you saying you didn't love Kraven the Hunter?
That movie. Oh, God. Oh, God. Why was Russell Crowe there? What was going on?
From the trailers, it looked like the lion bleeding in his blood gave him his powers, but they did change that, it looks like.
Yeah. The voodoo priest is Calypso. These people are morons. God,
did you catch the reshoot on the daughter of Calypso in London? There was a moment where she was saying something, but they decided, they wanted her to say something else. Had they annoying oranged her mouth? They just overlaid her mouth from another piece of footage onto that footage, and it looks so freaky.
It's so bad. It's kind of like, I don't know if y'all, oh man, what was that joint? It used to be a joint on the internet called the Annoying Orange.
Yeah,
I don't know if
that nightmare.
Yeah, that nightmare fuel. That's exactly what it looked like. Like, I eat people. Like, what I mean, it's. I hate everything.
They've been going after that effect for too long now. Like Adam, the space babies, I thought they looked like the Annoying Orange. They were just adult mouths on babies' faces with annoying orange level effects. It was horrifying. Oh yeah, that was an episode of Doctor Who. Shooty Got was season 1, episode 1, where there was a bunch of super smart babies on a spaceship alone, and there was a booger monster. I don't mean bogey monster. I mean like literally their boogers clumped together and made a sentient monster. And then he had all the babies' farts go out and airlock at the same time and made that into a propulsion that flew the space baby ship out of where they were, but he didn't give them any way to slow down, so they were genocided when they crashed into a planet.
He's not making any of this up.
That's 100% what happened. Space baby farts propelled a spaceship to crash into a planet with a booger monster who wasn't actually bad. The booger monster wasn't actually bad.
Yeah, they saved it in the end. Yeah. All right.
Take me, Lord.
All right, so let's now, with the final segment of the show, I want to have a little discussion here. So, with all these things we've just talked about, MCU, we mentioned Superman, we can throw in the idea of video game consoles, the Switch 2, all these things. There have been a lot of different discussions and a lot of different people coming in and sharing thoughts, but there's something that has jumped out at me recently. For me, it was talking about Superman 2. For Jed, I know it's talking about the Switch 2. It seems we reached a point where everybody's so broken from fighting this culture war that if somebody likes something, they latch onto it really, really hard, and they connect it to their soul, even, I would say. And they become super tribalistic. And it results in what I'm seeing right now and I'm going to ask you this question. I feel as though we have lost the ability for intelligent discourse with nuanced takes and opinions and feelings on things. You either have to really like this, you have to have this complete, direct, orthodox opinion. You cannot have any sway in the dogma. And if you do, then you're wrong and you're effed up, and we have to yell and scream at you and tell you you're terrible. So I ask you this, presented with that, is the ability to have intelligent discourse dead?
I will say that the ability itself isn't dead, but the chances of it happening are slim to none.
Okay.
If you're in a group of, let's just take us for a second. We all come from different backgrounds. We come from different walks in life. We come from different avenues of nerddom. And we can sit there and yell and scream at each other to have nerd debates until we're blue in the face and not feel nothing. We'd still be friends. We'd still be cool. We'd not feel a thing. But we come from a different stitching that a lot of people, modern people, come from. And the idea that tribalism is the name of the game makes it very difficult to have legitimate, intelligent discourse with anyone. Because if I'm so, as I've said several times before, there's a huge difference between something I really like or something that's really good. They can intertwine or they can be separate. For most individuals, they cannot separate the two. So if I say, let's just say for the sake of argument, let's say I say, hey, Doctor Who sucks. And I'm just saying in general, Doctor Who. Now, modern Doctor Who, we already know is garbage. But let's say I've watched all of Doctor Who or watched part of it and like, hey, I think Doctor Who is garbage. Now, Jed will have a rational discussion with me about why I'm wrong. I can have a rational discussion about why I'm right. But tribalistic people will be like, no, you're wrong, and that means you're a racist, and that you hate your mama, and that you hate sea babies, and that you hate shrimp, and like they'll twist it into some narcissistic sex package that you don't want anything to do with. And therefore, a rational person would maybe try to reason with them, or be like, you know what, this person cannot be reasoned with. I'm going to go ahead and keep it to myself and move on. It's just a matter of finding the people that actually are smart enough to actually have discourse, which is rare. So I won't say that it's impossible, but the chances of it happening are slim and none.
And Jed, let me ask you the question, and I'm going to turn it over to you. I'm going to lead
Go
you
for
to it. Jed, you, as I said, you've gotten this most recently because with your takes on the Switch 2, which are based on, they're not negative. You're just presenting the logical picture of the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
You've gotten hard attacked by, and I'll say it, Nintendrones, who are completely saying, how can you not say it's a success? But you're just saying, most of the time you're saying it could have been better. That's all you're saying, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's so hard to have an intelligent debate with anybody, and I think Dre put it in a great way that it's a dying breed of individuals, and it's up to the individuals whether or not they can have a intelligent debate. Because yeah, with the Nintendo stuff, I say I like a lot of Nintendo stuff. I'm playing a lot of old Nintendo games right now, N64 games, but I loved Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild. I'll get a Switch 2 someday, but I think the Switch 2 launch could have been handled better, and we deserved a better product for the Switch 2. So the Nintendrones are like, oh, you just hate all of Nintendo, you think they're demons because you love Sony. You're probably a Sony brony, but the same people who are actually like that, who think Nintendo's devils on earth, they're like, oh, you're still willing to buy their products? You're just a Nintendrone. So it just goes so far every direction that I can't find footing with any side. It's the same thing with Adam and the Snyder Bros versus the Gun people right now. It's, you've got to either be restore the Snyderverse was the greatest thing ever, or James Gunn is fixing everything that was wrong with the Snyderverse. There's no middle ground. And I think the essential aspect of being able to have an intelligent discussion and a great debates is the ability for common ground and middle ground to exist. Whether or not we come to an understanding, whether or not we come to a compromise and have that middle ground, as long as there's the potential for that. Like the debate that Dre posed as a hypothetical about Doctor Who, we would probably end that debate saying, yeah, I can understand why Dre wouldn't like Doctor Who because it's really campy or whatnot. Like we give the middle ground. It's like, I understand why you don't like it. Those things just work for me. That is middle ground. That is finding a compromise in a certain way. And because these people are so tribalized, the middle ground is impossible to achieve, even in that little way of saying, I get where you're coming from. That should be a simple thing. That's not even like we should make these franchises a middle ground. We're not saying that at all. It's just saying we understand each other's perspectives. And that's all I tried to do with the Switch 2 is say, yeah, it's a massive success. And even in the lead up, it was always going to be a massive, massive success, but it should have been better. And I think fans deserved better. And the fact that Nintendo fans are slopping it up to this degree is guaranteeing they won't get anything better next time. If they'd given the response due to the Switch 2, which is middling, they would have gotten a superior product for the Switch 3 or whatever that next generation console is going to be. But because they lapped up the Switch 2 this much, the Switch 3 is just going to be a new coat of paint on the Switch again, because Nintendo knows they can get away with it. And that middle ground is controversial. But going away from that, these individuals that you can find that have this capacity to find middle ground, to find compromise, they exist out there in the wild. They're not on the internet, though. So I believe discourse like this is so hard, nearly impossible to find on the internet these days, because even the people who are capable of it in the real world can't on the internet because they're in these tribalist settings where they have the backup of their tribalist friends. But if you go out and meet someone at a Walmart and be like, hey, yeah, I like this Fantastic Four toy, and you start up a conversation about modern Fantastic Four versus classic Fantastic Four, you're still most likely going to be able to have a nuanced discussion. No one's going to start screaming in a Walmart like they would online, unless they're the extremists, of course. So the internet removes inhibitions and inclinations to find common ground. There's still an aspect of polite society that I think exists in the real world enough to temper those inhibitions to a degree that people can have a nuanced discussions. They put down their aggressive tendencies the way that Nuanced discussions are absolutely capable out in the wild. I've met a lot of stands out in the wild that I can have good discussions with. I actually met a woman who Adam and I met while we were while he was down here for my wedding, who thought Rings of Power was better than any other thing we could have gone, that it was good specifically because it broke from Tolkien lore. Of course, I think that's an abomination, and that perspective is awful, but I still had a nuanced discussion with her. Neither of us got upset, and we went away with it like, yeah, you like what you want, I like what I want. We very much disagree on the Rings of Power, but we still had a good discussion about it. So, but if I had met that person online, I don't think that discussion would have been possible online because of the tribalism. Without the backup, without the anonymity the internet provides, people try to be polite. There's still that inclination. It's diminishing in the real world as well, 100% diminishing.
Oh, yeah.
But it's still more likely to be found.
Now, you bring that up, like the ability to say, I like something, you like something, we disagree. I've used the classic example. I've got friends who I played Star Wars: The Old Republic with. We're still in touch occasionally. You know, we're not playing games with everywhere. And when you're not playing games with somebody, you tend to lose connection. They love Star Wars as much as I do, real Star Wars. But one of them she always said, I'm gonna watch the new Disney Star Wars stuff. And I would go, it's terrible. Why are you doing this? She goes, well, it's Star Wars. And I said, well, you know, it's not real Star Wars. Yeah, I know. That was a response. And that was enough of the understanding. She knows where I'm coming from. And she knows Disney Star Wars is shit. But she's willing to simply watch the slop and accept it for what it is, while understanding that it is slop and not real Star Wars. And that was our middle ground on that. And therefore, I never gave her shit over it. Because I would say, you know, it's not real Star Wars. She would go, yeah, I know. It's not real Star Wars. But at the same time, to what you were saying about the tribalism, about going on the internet to take it a step further, and I would say sometimes, even though you guys know that I am not afraid to speak my mind on things. I'm not afraid to say my opinion on things. But at the same time, everybody should understand that I don't say certain things on a many wide array of topics, not just pop culture, but other things. Because if I did, I would likely get my channel destroyed. Not that I'm saying nuked by YouTube or anything. What I'm saying is I would say something that probably would maybe break from certain dogmatic beliefs. And because we're so tribalistic and so damaged by everything, a lot of people would not be able to look past my saying, maybe this should be done differently. Maybe so-and-so should do this. So-and-so should do that. Maybe let's try a different tactic. Maybe let's not behave like this. Maybe so-and-so is not somebody that should be paid attention to. Stuff like that. I would get immediately ostracized, and any chance of my channel ever growing within our sphere nuked. And I understand that. And that's what stems from my question. We all should be able to have an intelligent discourse and say what we feel like about something without fear of reprisal. And I think that's the core of it. There's fear of reprisal for a lot of us, where we're trying to do this stuff. We're trying to make a living on this. We're trying to build something more than what it is. And unfortunately, if you do not go along with the tide, you're done. And I would say fear has a lot to go built into the inability to have true intelligent discourse, because you're not allowed to give your opinion, your full opinion, or just say something outside of it to make people maybe pay attention to something. Because the problem is, to build off what you guys said, a lot of what goes on here is built off emotion. Pure, raw emotion and feelings, where logic is just thrown out the window. And you're caught up in the fever pitch of emotion, and you don't want to listen. All you hear is something that's going against what you feel is so right, and you're going to push back and attack. And because you are likely riding the wave of the opinion, others will join that wave, and somebody trying to simply have a discussion, not meaning maybe attacking, but simply trying to maybe actually reveal some purposeful, normal information, something that is poignant, are going to get washed away by emotion. And that's the tribalism. And I think what I think I'm coming to the conclusion here is that tribalism is alive and well, and it's destroying intelligent discussion because everybody's so damaged by everything, whether it's political, whether it's pop culture, whether it's social. Everybody is so damaged by what these goddamn commie Marxists have done for the past 15 years. They've done what they need to do. They have sown discord and distrust so much that people want to hear their echo chambers. And yes, we talk about it a lot. People accuse us of being echo chambers. And no, we are not an echo chamber. But no matter how hard you try, people are still going to gather in tight little knots where the opinion is reinforced. And they don't want to hear anything different because then they're going to think, oh shit, we're under attack again. We got to rally around. We got to circle the wagons. We got to push back. We have to trample in order to protect what we love, protect how we feel, because they want to take it away from us. That's the unfortunate default setting that everybody's been put in. And to me, it is creating a field where you cannot have an intelligent discussion unless all parties walking in are ready to have it. And it's sad. It's sad. And I don't know if we're ever going to get back. I mean, we try to on the show. That's why once in a while I will have a segment like this where I want to just put a question out there and see how we feel about it. And we haven't always agreed, but we've had intelligent discussions about it. So,
and that's what it used to be about. It used to not be about agreeing or disagreeing. It used to be just about having discourse, because we have differing opinions. We are not a monolith. We have different walks of life. We have different ways of viewing things. And that type of nuance doesn't exist as a whole anymore. It just doesn't. It's always ends in name calling. And it always ends in you're an istphobe and you hate whoever, fill in the blanks. And it sucks that doesn't happen too often. But this I will say, I will share this. Yesterday, my wife tricked me, and she tricked me into going to Baltimore. For those that know, I hate the city of Baltimore. It is the worst city.
Rightfully so.
Of all time.
Smart.
I hate that place more than
Baltimore and
anything
Detroit don't deserve to exist.
Exactly. 100%. They both need to go into a dumpster. Both those cities need to go. So, but they're trying to build up Baltimore and attract people, whatever. So they made a new restaurant next to this Four Seasons hotel, whatever. So I was tricked. I go there. So I go in there, the waiter comes, and we talk for a little while, whatever. So the waiter ended up being somebody from Jersey. He just moved here, so he doesn't understand that I don't like this place. But but instead of judging this man for existing, because God knows I wanted to, guess what? He was a nerd. He was a nerd from Jersey. And we talked about the Superman movies, and we disagreed on how things were going to go. We disagreed on the differences and nuances of certain characters that are being portrayed currently in film and television and all that stuff. We talked for about a half an hour. Half an hour. We agreed on nothing. Nothing. But guess what? We dapped each other up and had smiles on our faces. And then he went back to serving tables, and I went back home as quickly as I possibly could.
There was flames on that sidewalk.
Oh my God, them tires were cooking, Jack. But that's it. Like, it's such a rare thing. And Jed, you actually mentioned it earlier about meeting people in person. You meet somebody in person, and you might run into somebody that's just a normal person and actually have this type of nuanced conversations. But who's really just walking up to strangers to have this type of talks? Obviously,
not anymore.
But yeah, not anymore. Like the risk that is run of like, hey, I'm gonna have a regular conversation with a human being is rough. But the fact that I actually rolled the dice and he initiated it, it was nice. And it's I think it's the first conversation I've had like that in many years of just somebody, which I'm not in like a nerd circle. Like if I'm at Comic-Con or something.
Yeah.
But in a regular everyday circle, and hey, we fundamentally disagree, but at the same time, I respect your nerddom, you respect mine, and then we shake hands, and no hard feelings, and I tip the man generously. Like it's so rare to have, and sometimes it's not even worth. Was it lemon's not worth the squeeze? That's it. Lemon's not worth the squeeze, because you don't want to run the risk of walking into somebody is like, I don't want to talk to anybody like that. I don't want to waste my time with people that have no window of concession, a window of concession at all. It's like if you don't agree with me, that means you're bang. Like I'm kind of over that, and that's why I just talk with the same friends I've had for decades. It's no point. What did Drake say many years ago? No new friends, and that's the way it's got to be. It's unfortunate. I miss just talking to people, but that's not even worth it anymore because you never know if somebody's not even a rational human being. It's not even worth it.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's the world we live in, and that's why I at least sometimes try to steer the conversations where we can have a real conversation and not just yell. I mean, it's one thing to yell in a video and give my take and push back against stands, but we know who we're dealing with there. And the problem is very often we don't get a chance to find the people that want to have the rational discussion like you just described. Yep. And sometimes it's very rare to meet them in the wild like that. And it's random when it happens. You never know what's going to happen. And don't go looking for it. Don't go looking for it because you don't want to talk no crazy. Sometimes you want to talk crazy. And that's a first. Anyway, all right, let's wrap it up. We're 2 hours in. I got stuff to do. Jed, what you got?
Well, everyone can find me on YouTube and Kick at Hollywood Scholar. Just have Saturday Night Drive-In this week. Well, Adam will talk more about, but I do have one last 10-second thing to talk about, if that's okay.
Uh-oh.
We have some news, as we're all very excited about. Witcher Season 4 is coming next year, and then subsequently Season 5. And we're all very excited for that. Well, there's been an announcement about a behind-the-scenes change going on for future seasons of The Witcher, if you want to pull this up. Adam, I think you are in on Witcher Season 4 now, am I correct? The final season of The Witcher taps the Acolyte fight designer. So Acolyte people are working on The Witcher Season 5.
Oh, you mean let's just hit sticks? Let's just hit sticks together.
So that's what we have coming. So I think you're invested. I won't have to force you to watch this show anymore.
No, you will have to force me to watch this show. I am under duress watching this show. Dre.
Yeah. So not a whole lot from me this week, that's for sure, because I'm on baby watch. So if AJ comes, all will be informed of his arrival, and so I am on that watch this week. Oh, did I tell you the name? That's
the first time.
Okay, so his name is going to be Azriel Joseph.
Oh, man, you nerd! You nerd! You Batman nerd!
So
listen, I'm gonna be no better. Hopefully, one day I'll be no better.
I already have a list that are ridiculously nerdy.
Listen. We are. If you're a nerd, you're gonna somehow get a character name in there. You're gonna.
Yeah, and it took a lot of doing because I had to find one that meant something and all that stuff. And so I was like, wait a minute, and I had a nice long list. And my wife was not having none of this and whatever. I'm like, okay. I said, maybe this won't work. And then I started telling our friends, and then they're like, ooh, that name sounds sexy. I'm like, yeah.
See, you had the slight advantage because it's a son. It's a son, so you get the leverage. It's my son.
Yeah.
I'm like, choose his name. He is the fruit of my loins. He will carry on my name into the future. That was a girl, you'd have to you have to back off on that shit.
Yeah, to let the wife do.
But,
so it's Azriel de Brute. That's a pretty strong name, Azriel de Brute.
That's a villain name.
That's a big time villain.
That's a villain name.
So his middle name's gonna be Joseph. That's after my wife's father, and then my name Daniels. But I'm
not
going.
Brute.
Yeah, that would be wow. So but we're doing the Hebrew spelling, so the AZ apostrophe RIEL instead of the Arab spelling, which is AZREAL, which is the angel of death. So I was like, yeah, maybe not give him that one.
Yeah, I've got a villain called Azriel, so that
because that's like an angel of death.
My book
but the Hebrew one is God watches over me. So you know, it works out pretty well. So it's so we got our name, but we're just gonna call him AJ. That's just gonna be what he's gonna be called. But it's good. It's good. So we're ready. We're ready. But that's what I'm doing this week.
Yeah, you got all the excuses in the world.
Yes.
I hope you have a collection of Azrael and Batman stuff ready to go to indoctrinate this child.
It's gonna happen, and when I do, my wife is gonna be very pissed off. She's gonna be very pissed. But it's definitely happening. It's definitely
is the Azrael design from Arkham Knight good? Like comic accurate? Do you like that one? Yeah, just like
I actually like that design better than the Nightfall design. Personally.
Really?
I actually like it more.
So we're expecting a 4-foot tall poster of Azrael from Arkham Knight in the nursery.
That is correct. That is correct.
One day we're gonna hear this. Andre, why'd that boy running around with them claws on his hands again?
Yeah, and I'm already making more shelf room up there. About to get my Azrael toys up there. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great.
All right, it's gonna be a joyous moment. I can't wait for you to grace us with the news. It'll be awesome, and you will get the weekend off and probably a few weekends off after that. So
going on paternity leave.
Yeah.
As for me, tonight, as usual, every Sunday night I go record Wormhole Watch with Brad, Fractured, and Hitman. You can catch those every Wednesday, edited up on Brad's channel, Duke Devil 95. Rest of the week, every Monday through Friday, 1 p.m. Eastern, we got the Daily Dive, where you, the chat, are in charge. You spend money, and you make me watch and read horrible shit. That's how it works, and we have a good time. Other than that, gaming, we have finished Exposition 33. I did it. It's done. It was glorious. Jed's almost done with it himself. Jed, you agree. Glorious game.
It's fantastic. I usually am very hesitant to say this is one of the greatest games ever made when I play it for my first time. I'm not even hesitating. Like, this is Witcher 3 Expedition 33. We'll have to wait till it ends to see if it actually gets in that top 3 spot.
I'm not going to spoil anything. I will not spoil a damn thing. All I'm saying is, if I play it again, they don't have a New Game Plus function in there. They're going to put one in there. Considering all the work I put in with my Pictos collecting and all my leveling and all my weapons that I've collected, New Game Plus before I play it again. I still got 5 trophies. I'll go back and save and get my remaining trophies. So I'm going to platinum the hell out of this thing. Damn straight I am. But so I finished episode 33. You can catch it. All the playthroughs for the story and stuff like that have been uploaded. Excuse me, to the arcade. You guys can catch it there. But so we are moving on. What I am not playing Space Marine 2 with Alf. At some point, we missed it last week because I lost power for 26 hours. Dre, man, around here when that thunderstorm.
Oh my God!
I was out of power for 26 hours, man.
Jeez.
No power for 26 hours. It was crazy.
Man,
and all because the stupid. It was a tree here that fell down in the complex because they didn't. The fucking stupid. I mean, I hate Dominion. A pox on Dominion, but they told them remove that tree and they did it, and it fell and it severed a pole. And it tore everything up.
Ooh.
And they didn't get to it till like yesterday or the other day at 9, Friday at 9.
So
I was out for 26 hours. It was sucked ass. So we are now moving on. When we're not, so I didn't get to play Space Marine 2 with Alf. We're going to reschedule that again. Other than that, yeah, the wrong kind of 26 hours, Weasel. Wrong kind of 26 hours. We are moving on to the greatness, the glory, return to a good old friend, Lunar Remastered Collection. I've already done the prep work. We're ready to get started. We just need to start today. Maybe Tuesday, I'm thinking right now. Maybe Tuesday, because we don't quite have time tomorrow with Mellow Mondays at 10:30 p.m. Eastern and all that good stuff. So look forward to that. Rest of the week, Thursday, it's Anime Odyssey week. Join me and Dermy as we continue our Summer of Gundam. We're talking Gundam Seed Part 2. The second half of Gundam Seed. And then rest of the week, we got Ballbusters. We got Drive-In. We're going World War II Classic. We're going to be watching The Great Escape. Oh, it's a good movie. It's a good movie. I love that movie. I wanted another meat on the bone movie to talk about. That's what I wanted. Next time, I'm choosing pure schlock for my next one, Jed. Don't worry. Pure schlock.
Please, make it fun schlock this time.
Boy. You will learn the glory of Golden Child one day. Anyway, so join us for all of that, and then we'll be back here next week for another roundtable. I'm sure the internet will provide it. Somehow always does. So thank you one and all for joining us today. Hit that like button. Subscribe. I'm almost at 4,000. We can get there, guys. We've got 8 days left. to get me to 4,000, to reach that June goal of getting to 4,000. 8 days left. I know we can do it. I trust and believe in all of you, even if you don't believe in me. So thank you, one and all. We'll catch you guys next time. Until then, everybody, take it easy.